It's Friday night at the short track, the NASCAR Nationwide Series. When the sun goes down, the tempers tend to rise. We've gone from the fastest track to this, a driver's paradise where fast speeds are as common as the sparks, both from the cars and the drivers.
Raise your hands if you feel like I do. Scream aloud if you feel like I do. Ring the hell if you feel like I do. Feel like you do, like we all do.
I basically told him that you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns.
Raise your hands.
Kevin Harvick leads all active drivers with 4 wins. Kyle Busch has 3. So does Carl Edwards. Will it once again be a Steely veteran stealing the show, or will a new face find its way to victory lane? It is the NASCAR Nationwide Series from Richmond International Raceway. And this is NASCAR Countdown.
T-minus 10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
Welcome to Richmond, Virginia in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. It is race 9 of 35. Welcome to NASCAR Countdown, presented by Hellmann's. It is Friday at the racetrack, and it has been a busy day, nonstop. This day began at 9 this morning with the 3-hour final Nationwide Series practice. Throw in a couple of Cup practices for double-duty drivers, qualifying for both the Nationwide Series and the Cup Series. And 10 hours later, here we are, ready to go green. But let's kind of backtrack a little bit and check out qualifying for the NASCAR Nationwide Series race. And Kyle Busch once again goes out and grabs the pole for the 19th time in his NASCAR Nationwide Series career. It is the first time, though, this season in 3 wins here at this track. Twice he has won the race from the pole. And keep this in mind, a very good weekend in terms of qualifying. Kyle will start on pole in this race and as well in the Sprint Cup Series race tomorrow evening. He'll be joined on the front row by Reed Sorensen, row 2, Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski, the winner of 1 week ago, and the points leader. More on him coming up in a little bit. And check out the guy in row 5 next to Justin Allgaier. It is Shelby Howard leading the way for some of the go or go homers. But speaking of the guy who starts on pole, Kyle Busch is standing by with our Doc Punch.
Thank you, Nicole. And a year ago, Kyle, you swept both races here, and today you swept both poles. So why do drivers like this place so much?
Well, it's a fun racetrack. You know, it's pretty exciting for the fans, of course, with the night race here and the short track excitement that it brings to everybody. So, you know, for me, this has been a good racetrack for me. You know, I've run well here in the past. I've had a lot of good runs, won some races. So I like coming to Richmond. For some reason, it fits me. And hopefully tonight it fits just as well as it has always. And we can try to come out of here with another win in our NOS Energy Drink Camry.
I've heard you call this place a technical racetrack, not your typical short track. What makes it so different?
Well, there's a lot going on. You know, you can't just drive it into the corner and use a lot of brake like a Martinsville or a Bristol or somewhere like that. You know, you really got to drive it with a lot of finesse. You know, a lot of drivers complain loose in, tight center, loose off. So you're always trying to make the most of all those situations. You know, you don't want to work on the entry too bad, because then you're just going to hurt your center and make it tighter. So you've really got to finesse it and make it to where you're just barely on edge getting in, you're just barely tight center, and then you're just barely loose off. So it takes a lot out of a driver.
A happy early birthday and good luck tonight.
No, you got it. Thanks.
Kyle turns 25 on Sunday. Nicole?
Thanks, Doc. And this is the shot from high above, because inside the ESPN pit studio, centrally located between pit lane and the Nationwide Series garage. I'm Nicole Briscoe, inside with a NASCAR Series team owner, Brad Doherty, and a guy who knows really a thing or 6 about winning at this track, Rusty Wallace. As a driver, why was this a place that you just loved?
Oh, I love the short track atmosphere, number one. The night race here is really exciting. And you talk to all the drivers, they like running on the bottom, the middle, the top. There's so much this racetrack gives you that other racetracks don't. And for those reasons, that's the reason I love that. I can go on and on about this place.
Well, Brad, we just heard from Kyle Busch, and we just came from a racetrack at Talladega where qualifying didn't matter. That is not the case here.
This is true, simply because it's so hard to gain track position at this racetrack. If you look at the entire field, 1 to 43, there's only 2 seconds that separate them all. And 11 out of the last 12 guys who've won this race have started in inside the top 10. Track position is tantamount to getting to victory lane here, no doubt about it.
And here's something else that drivers are thinking about: consistency, because we are finally getting to the point in the season where we are finding some consistency in the schedule. Take a look at this. In February, the Nationwide Series ran 3 races. Compare that to March. The series had 3 weeks off and ran just 1 race. This month, 5 races, but 2 of them have been rain delayed. Thank you very much, Mother Nature. Brad, from the driver's perspective, how important is it to be out there consistently?
Well, it's everything, and we're seeing all of our young guys struggle this year in this series simply because of the inconsistency. The lack of seat time, the lack of racing time has really hurt our young competitors, and they're all struggling with wrecks, crashes, bad qualifying efforts, not good races, all of the above. It's really been tough on the young fellas.
You own a team in this series. It's got to be an effect on the team as well.
Yeah, for the team, it's really killed us. This inconsistency, no rhythm, whatever you want to call it. It's because of this schedule. I don't like the schedule where we had 3 weeks off in March, and then compound that with the rain you talked about on the graphic there, and then coming out of Talladega, a track that's nothing like Richmond and nothing like the rest of the tracks. Now, all the drivers and team owners and everybody I've talked to said they've been looking forward to tonight's race because they think that's where the consistency for everybody, driver or owner, is going to start.
Yep.
I know a few thousand fans out there who are looking forward to tonight's race as well. Coming up next on NASCAR Countdown, it's the kind of finish you may have expected from Talladega. What you may not have expected, the winner slapped on the wrist for cheating. Then, after 8 DNFs and 8 races between the team's 2 rookies, Jack Roush is making some changes. We discuss next on NASCAR Countdown. Welcome to Richmond! Woo!
NASCAR Countdown is presented by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious, Hellman's.
And welcome back to Richmond, Virginia, Richmond International Raceway. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And it looks a bit different this week. It's not exactly the 2.5+ miles of Talladega less than a week ago.
We may be a day late, but we won't be $1 short as we welcome you to Talladega Super Speedway.
Be careful about pushing him there when he's got cars ahead of him like that.
Look out, Carl Edwards turns, and we've got multi-cars into the wall.
Yeah, look at the rear end, guys. Your rear end cover is gone.
Oh, crash coming down towards start finish.
Yellow's out. Yellow, yellow.
White flag, here we go.
Don't let him mess with you now.
Harvick in front.
He's going to have to fight them all from both sides right here. He's each way.
McMurray with a head of steam.
Oh, he's hung in the middle.
Watch him clear the bottom.
But on the hard side, look out, they're going to go around. Oh, big crash. Oh, and up into the wall. The caution is out. The race will finish.
Awesome feeling to be here in Talladega. This track means a lot to me, and the fans that come here, die-hard NASCAR fans, to be able to win in front of them, it's pretty cool.
Brad Keselowski got the win, but after he was docked 25 points apiece for 2 separate infractions, one involving the springs, the other involving shocks. Owner Roger Penske was also docked 50 owner points, and crew chief Paul Wolfe was fined $20 grand. Tim Brewer is in the Craftsman Tech Garage now. What exactly did the 22 team do wrong?
Nicole, I spent some time yesterday in a NASCAR truck with Joe Bausch, the director of the series. The 22 car had a 2,200-pound right front spring in the car and an 800-pound left front spring. But after post-race inspection, this spring was great, but this spring came up 50 pounds short. As far as the shock absorbers, when you push your shock absorber down, it's got a rebound time. It's very difficult to come back out. NASCAR gives you 90 seconds for this shock to come back out to this area right here. This shock took about 2 minutes. Purpose being, the air dam right here being lowered to the ground with a softer spring, and the shock with a rebound over there lowers this, and Nicole, that's speed at Talladega.
Not something drivers don't really want to give up. Brad,
Yeah.
This is a situation, though, where the margin was very close.
Yep.
End of the day, do you think this was an intentional cheating?
No, I don't think it was an intentional cheating situation. It's simply because when you look at this left front shock, if that shock gets a little bit of debris in it and it collapses, it can put a lot of undue pressure on that spring throughout the day and create an intolerance there. And I think the margin was minimal, so I don't think it was a cheating situation. But it was outside of the tolerances that NASCAR allows, so it doesn't matter. But I do not think it was a cheating situation.
And bottom line to NASCAR, it does not matter if it's intentional or not. But Roger Penske, You know him quite well, Rusty. How does he react when one of his teams is charged with cheating?
Well, he's very upset about that. I've talked to Roger many times. When we first started Penske Racing back in 1992, he said, number one, I want you guys to run up front. I want you to win. I'm going to give you the resources to get it done. But above all, we do not cheat. Look, Rusty, if somebody else is cheating and we get beat, so be it. But I got a lot of employees. I got my reputation on the line. And at this particular team, we are not going to cheat. And so I know nothing was intentional. And Roger's probably not a happy camper right now.
And at the end of the day, this penalty does close the gap between first and second. Brad Keselowski now leads Kevin Harvick by just 10 points. But tonight, Brad K will roll off fourth for this race, and he's standing by now with our Mike Massaro.
And despite that penalty, Brad Keselowski is still the championship leader, but only by 10 points. In light of what transpired with the penalty, how do you look at the championship battle now?
Well, it changed it a little bit, but we just got to keep doing what we're doing to get here to this point. It's a little unfortunate, the things that happened last week, but, you know, we looked at it ourselves, looked at it internally, and there was no intention to, you know, to have anything wrong. So, you know, we just had some parts that failed. You know, we didn't have the highest quality of parts in the car that failed, and, you know, it is what it is. We've got to move on. Thankfully, it didn't give us a competitive advantage, so, you know, I feel good about that. Don't feel like we actually cheated. It's just, you know, we have an obligation to keep our cars within the rules throughout the race, and it didn't happen. So we'll learn from it, move on. That's part of the growing pains of being a new team, and continue to do what we're doing and try to keep performing.
Strong qualifying effort so far today. How's the car in race trim?
I think we're pretty good. You know, I actually was a little surprised we didn't, you know, qualify any better. But the Rube Tuesday Dodge this weekend, brand new sponsor in the sport. We want to get them in victory lane like we did last week with Discount Tire at Talladega.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Brad Keselowski riding a streak of 7 consecutive top fives, Nicole.
Well, I'll tell you this, we are definitely not in Talladega anymore. From more than 2.5 miles to less than a mile here in Richmond. And check out the degree of banking. That's a bit different, too. It's 14 degrees in the corners here. So the track setup is a little bit different. But here is something that does carry over a little bit. And Rusty, I seem to recall a few times that maybe your temper got the best of you here.
What are you talking about, Rusty?
Just
you
saying.
talking about our
Come on, man, not me.
No, and he was right if he did get mad. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely, because he'll tell you that.
Brad, I know one thing. There's two different types of tempers.
Yep.
When you go to Talladega, I mean, a lot of drivers, Nicole, expect to get in wrecks. They hope they don't, but if the big one happens, it happens. But here at Richmond, when you get tagged in the back, hey, that makes you mad because you know you got hit intentionally. That's a different type of temper, and that's one you might hold on to and try to pay somebody back with later on.
So tempers, but there are a few transitions you do have to make, a few adjustments when you go from a super speedway to a short track. What are those for some of the drivers?
Well, the biggest ones is it comes in your equipment. That's the biggest change, because if you really think about it, when you come here to Richmond, and I was talking to Jeff Burton about this, he said, you know, it's almost like running a super speedway because of the speeds at this racetrack. They run 150 miles an hour down the straightaway here, and you are in packs all night long, just like at Talladega. But the one difference is the attitude, because these guys are so used to running these smaller tracks. It's a part of their DNA, a part of the culture they grew up in. They get more aggressive here, and they'll have a lot more fun here because they feel like they're going Saturday night racing.
But you know who was really good last weekend in Talladega? It was Kevin Harvick. He's also pretty good when it comes to this track here. In 2006, he actually swept the season, and in the fall race, he got his 4th win here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time I think of Kevin Harvick coming to Richmond, Virginia, it reminds me of a short track racer that grew up in Bakersfield, California, where Kevin grew up on the short tracks, cut his teeth. And every time we come to this particular track, first thing that comes to my mind, they better beat Kevin Harvick because he's good here.
18 career starts, 4 wins. Perhaps more impressive than that, though, every single one of his finishes here, he's been running at the end of the race. Will he do that again tonight? Dave was with Kevin Harvick.
Well, and Kevin earlier today, when speaking with me and during practice, talked about taking our lumps in qualifying. So I wonder if starting 11th is lumpy enough to tell you that this is a good race car to win again here at Richmond.
I don't know. You know, our Rheem tankless water heaters Chevrolet has been pretty good in race trim. It's all about making the right adjustments to adjust for the night and getting the balance right on the car. So, you know, we qualified 18th and we're leading in about 50 laps last year. So we'll see what happens tonight.
The last pit stop of the night, Kevin, proves to be so critical here. What have you and Ernie talked about in terms of getting it right this year to take you to victory lane?
Just got to do it all right. You know, you gotta put the whole night together. I mean, these races are hard to win, and and you got to have good cars, good pit stops, and not make any mistakes.
Kevin Harvick starts 11th. 4 wins here at Richmond in the Nationwide Series. Nicole?
Thank you, Mr. Burns. The race, of course, tonight. Tomorrow, though, check out NASCAR Now at 10 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN2. Then at 1:30 Eastern, it is the IZOD IndyCar Series from Kansas Speedway. That is on ABC. Then Saturday night, 9 Eastern, it's the AAA Insurance Midwest Nationals on ESPN2. Finals are Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we were back next week from Darlington, Friday night, 7 on ESPN2. And coming up next, I'm telling you this, it could not be a more beautiful night in Richmond. Greg Biffle trying to go through the field, make his first win. And, of course, there's the pole sitter, Kyle Busch. More from Richmond when we come back.
NASCAR Countdown is presented by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious, Hellmann's.
Trouble on the backstretch. Carl Edwards is out.
That's not good.
Teammates fighting for the lucky dog position. Stenhouse into the wall.
Teammates here wrecking each other.
Stenhouse into the fence. Not a very happy birthday for Jack Roush.
Trouble off turn number 4. Stenhouse or Colin Brown, one of those Roush Fords also involved.
More contact into the wall. It is the 6 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Car spinning and crashing coming off turn 2. Colin Brown is one of them.
It's been a tough season for Stenhouse so far. His 3rd DNF.
We've got trouble. 3 cars in the wall. Colin Brown is involved.
Colin Brown gets into Ricky Stenhouse, puts him in the wall.
That's not good. Teammates here wrecking each other.
The 60 crew taking the car behind the wall.
Carl Edwards broken axle now 17 laps down.
Oh, crash coming down.
Caution's out. Caution's
The
out.
16 of Colin Brown is involved.
Go! Flat tire maybe already there.
Just keep it tight. Lock it down. Lock it down.
Oh, we got trouble.
No, look out. Carl Edwards turns, and we've got multi-cars into the wall.
Edwards got hit in the rear right there.
It has not been a pretty season for Roush Fenway so far in this series. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Colin Brown, and Carl Edwards have combined for 17 crashes in 8 races. That's led to 3 DNFs for Stenhouse and 5 for Brown.
Yeah, Nicole, I know those numbers look bad, but look, I got to stick up for both these guys. Ricky Stenhouse and Colin Brown, look, the disciplines they come from, look, these guys know how to drive. But the biggest thing I got against this whole thing going on, these guys have not had any testing. They have not been in the track. They have not been in the cars. They just get thrown in these cars from different disciplines and say, hey, go, cat, go. And it's tough to do that.
The other school of thought, Brad, is that these younger drivers are simply buckling under the pressure. What do you think?
And they are. But just like Rusty said, this is one of the issues that really drives me crazy, is these young guys, we feel like we have to put guys 18, 19, 20 years of age with the lack of experience into these positions. And as an owner, you're looking at these young men saying, you need to go win races right now so I can secure a sponsor and be able to take care of you. It's totally unfair. You look at Kevin Harvick, you look at Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski. These guys spent time toiling in the truck series. And these young guys need to be in that truck series, running against guys like Todd Bodine, Rick Crawford, and Skinner. Once you can run with those guys, then you can come up here and run in the Nationwide Series with Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards. It's totally unfair, and with a lack of testing, it makes it even more difficult.
Right there to test him, man. We need it really bad.
Yeah.
Colin Brown, 5 DNFs this season. He's not in the car this race. He's been replaced, at least for this time, by Matt Kenseth. We should, though, tell you that whenever Conway Freight is on the car, Brown will be back in.
Well, and that's another part of it. A lot of times these sponsors are tied to young men just like Colin Brown, or if you look at the Richard Childress situation with John West Townley, Zaxby's tied to him. He's out of the race car right now, but they're still trying to take care of their sponsorship issues. It's a tough situation. These young guys need a break.
Carl Edwards is also affected by this because he's in a team with true rookie teammates, not much experience, but you may be surprised by this. Edwards right now is 5th in points, but if you compare his numbers to his championship winning season in 2007, he's actually performing slightly better in 2010. What gives?
Yeah, I talked to Carl about this, and what the issue is at the top of this sport, at the top of the Nationwide Series, it's very, very dense with these talented drivers like Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and people like that. Carl says he's driving his rear end off every race. He's not winning as many races, but his finishes are better, and if you're going to win these races, you got to beat that Joey Logano and Kyle Busch night in and night out. That's hard to do.
Carl is one of the drivers pulling double duty this weekend, one of 15 both during the Nationwide Series race. and the Cup Series.
Kevin Harvick, too.
Yeah, And you are also doing double duty tonight, so scurry on. Get out of here. You're being called elsewhere.
Goodbye.
We also need to get down to the track because Doc Punch is standing by with Carl Edwards.
And as always, Carl getting some photographs and autographs from adoring fans here before climbing in the car. Carl, on the one hand, you got the pole at Phoenix and the second place finish at Daytona. On the other hand, a couple of finishes of 30th or worse. How would you characterize your season so far?
Man, it's a good question. You know, our guys have been working very, very hard. I think what's happened is the competition level has risen in this series. I mean, the Nationwide Series is so tough. And we started the season, and we had a little bit of false hope there with Daytona, and we realized, man, we need to be faster. And so we've dug deep. And we have had those two bad finishes the last 2 weeks, but our performance on the track those last 2 weeks has been very good. So I'd say our season so far has been hard work, and we haven't seen the payoff yet. But hopefully tonight with this Fast and All Fusion, we can run as well as we think we can.
Good racetrack for you. What's it going to take for you to break through and get that first win of the year here tonight?
Well, we guys have to keep working as hard as they have been. It's been amazing how good the cars have been, but we've got to have that plus a little bit of luck and you know, good pit stops, and then I have to do my job. You know, I can't get too greedy. You know, right now we're behind in points, and I just have to keep marching forward. We've got 25 races or something to make it up, so I hope we can do it tonight.
Good luck to you.
Hey, thanks.
If he'd win it, it'd be the first win for Ford this year. Dave.
Another Ford with a shot tonight are the new colors of the 16 car that Matt Kenseth will pilot tonight. And one of the cool things that crew chief Eddie Pardue told me about you taking over this ride tonight was that Nationwide racing this year was something you really wanted to get back into. How much of it was that, and how much of it was getting the 16 car back into the guaranteed qualifying spots?
Well, I've always enjoyed Nationwide racing. I think I've done it every year since '97. I think I even ran one race in '96, and we didn't have any on the schedule this year. So it was really cool. Coupons.com came on board to help us out this week in Darlington, and really just hope we can get everything running good and help Colin along a little bit so when he gets back in the car here in a few weeks.
Sounded like you're working on a lot of things in practice, Matt. How close is it to a race winner?
I don't know. I felt like we really struggled a lot today. It was I couldn't really ever get it to drive and feel the way I really wanted it to feel, but we qualified pretty well, and it drove a lot better qualifying. So to be honest with you, I really don't have any idea. We could run pretty good, and I wouldn't be shocked, and we could run kind of in mid-pack, and I wouldn't be shocked. We were kind of all over today working on a lot of different things, but these guys, they really is a good group of guys. They really worked really, really hard today, and I'm pretty picky about my cars, and they just kept working on it, and we sure, no matter how we run, it's not from lack of effort. These guys really worked hard today.
He picked and they worked, Nicole, and we'll have to see what Matt can do with it in the race.
Well, a few other pieces of news in our J-Ski News and Notes. You want to buy a race team? After 22 years in the sport, James Finch says he plans to sell both his Cup and his Nationwide Series teams. That said, he does plan to finish the 2010 Nationwide Series season with James Buescher. Kelly Byers has found himself a new ride. He's in the number 10 Colin Braun, this weekend. Ooh, get that out. The team hopes to find additional sponsors to run him a few more times this year. And in a tribute to his late father, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will bring back the number 3 car when the series returns to Daytona in July. The car was unveiled earlier this week by all the parties involved: Dale Jr., Richard Childress, and Teresa Earnhardt. Coming up next, the countdown to green here from Richmond International Raceway. Pre-race ceremonies. When we come back, this is NASCAR Countdown.
Let's get ready to rumble, baby. Let's go.
Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway. Reed Sorensen starting second tonight in 5 starts at this track. His best finish of 5th back in 2006. And how about Justin Allgaier? Ready tonight, starts 9th. He's 4th in points. He already has a short track win this year. And then in the 7 car, we have Steve Arpin. He made his junior motorsports debut a week ago in Talladega. What will he do in race number 2? Pre-race ceremonies are underway, so let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the representing Quartermaster Schools, Petroleum, and Water Department from Fort Lee, Virginia, presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing and join the members of the U.S. Olympic Speed Skating Team in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now please welcome Reverend Joe Ellison of the Essex Village Community Church as he delivers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray.
Eternal Father, we thank you tonight for this sport that we call NASCAR. We thank you, Lord, for all the drivers. We ask you for your divine protection over them, but not only them and their families tonight. And Lord, let us not forget the brave men and women that serve our country and serve the military from Iraq to Afghanistan across the world. We give you all the praise, we give you all the credit. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, in Christ's name we pray, amen.
And now, here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Mechanicsville's own April Lee.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for April Lee and the two F-15s of the 159th Fighter Wing of the Louisiana Air National Guard.
Mother Nature cooperated this night. Richmond is gorgeous. Race 9 of 35 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season. And when we come back, we go 187 miles and 250 laps from Richmond International Raceway.
NASCAR Nationwide Series in Richmond is brought to you by Verizon. Get the inside track from Penske Racing with race analysis from our drivers, plus highlights and high-speed action, all on VCast and only from Verizon. Text RACE to 66402 now.
You know, it is one of those races where they practice in one condition and then they race in another. It has been warm all day, but this morning in practice, 64 degrees. By the time they qualified, 20 degrees warmer, and currently we are down to 79 degrees. But as we go upstairs to Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, and Andy Petrie, you know what? No rain.
Yay! We're glad of that. An on-time race for a change. Nicole, thank you. Rusty made it on time, but he's always been fast at Richmond. You heard in some of the driver interviews we did during Countdown, both Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick say how important pit stops would be tonight. They should know. The last race here back in September, the last pit stop. Kevin Harvick comes in leading, but Carl Edwards goes out with the #1 spot. Kevin could never pass it for the rest of the race. Andy, these pit crews, they got some pressure tonight.
It is a lot of pressure. This is a great racetrack for racing and side-by-side racing. You'll see it all night long. But it's very difficult to complete a pass, and you may have to spend 8 or 10 laps passing a guy. If you get beat on pit road at the end of the race, you may not have enough time to get by him to make up that spot. So these pit crews are under a lot of pressure.
You don't want to make a mistake from the driver's end on that pit stop either.
Oh, man, that last pit stop or any pit stops, everything in the world. I mean, if a driver comes down and starts speeding on pit road, and get a load of this, there was 6 speeding penalties the last race here. It's on everybody's mind. It's a short racetrack. It's hard to pass like these guys just said. And if a driver, if you screw up in the pitch, you can ruin the whole night.
Now, take a look at this. Drivers who just absolutely dominated the Nationwide Series action here last year. I'll call them the Fast Four, if you will. Kyle Busch, 1st and 3rd. Edwards, 2nd and 1st. Harvick, 2 top 5. 5s. Keselowski, 2 top 5s. Safe to say that the winner might come from one of those guys tonight. Why are they so good here?
It's safe to say that it really is. I'm going to talk about Kevin Harvick a little bit. Harvick, we talked about in the countdown show. A guy grew up in the short tracks, Bakersfield, California, cut his teeth on the short tracks. He understands them, he loves them, and he loves this particular track.
Yeah, and Harvick, Edwards, and Busch have won 8 out of the last 10 races that we've run here. So good. It would be a good pick to pick one of those guys.
But there are a couple guys we think might spoil the party tonight.
There are. Reed Sorensen, for sure, has been knocking on the door of victory lane for a good while now. And Joey Logano, you can't forget about him, man. I'm telling you, he's had the best car in quite a few races, has not been able to seal the deal, but tonight might be the night for him.
By the way, all of those guys I call the Fast Four start in the top 11 spots tonight. They will be hard to handle. So we're getting ready for some glowing brake rotors, some bent fenders, and probably some drivers a little bent out of shape too.
Tempers.
I was checking to see if it was a full moon, because sometimes things get a little sideways on a full moon Saturday night. But it's Friday night, and it's not quite a full moon either. Still, it's going to be a great night of racing. Let's go trackside and get it started.
Race fans, please welcome back your Grand Marshal, the founder of BUBBA Burger, Bubba Eves, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
I got the whole bottom over. We've got to be tough. I just think what we normally do. Get down here. Don't be afraid to put yours on everything. They always keep it.
It's been a long day's work for the drivers and teams, waiting for that moment when the engines fire. Kevin Harvick's our in-race reporter tonight. We'll talk with the 4-time Richmond winner as he rolls out onto the track to get it going next. Richmond International Raceway has been a Kyle Busch kind of place on this Friday so far. He won 2 pole positions today. In the Nationwide Series, kind of hard to believe, but it's his first pole of 2010. Kyle's up front all the time. We just think he's got a handful of them, but pole number 1 for this season for Kyle Busch. He also won the Sprint Cup Series pole position a little bit later in the afternoon. And as Kyle leads the field off the pit lane onto the track for the parade and pace laps, we'll show you the starting lineup across the top of the screen. And when the 11th starter comes by, you will see the name of our in-race reporter, Kevin Harvick.
Kevin, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
K4, Russell.
Hey, buddy, it's been a lot of slipping and sliding right out there today in practice. Everybody knows you practice during the day and you're going to race at night, man. How's that going to affect your car?
Well, you definitely make some adjustments to free your car up from what you did in practice. We left our car a little bit free in practice to kind of anticipate the night. So this first run here is a good indication as to where we need to get our balance, and then we'll go from there.
Kevin, we got an ESPN mailbag question. It comes from Norma in Blossom, Texas. The question is, how hard is it to go from a fast track like Talladega to a short track like Richmond?
That's definitely different, but you know, after you get through all the practices and stuff, you become pretty accustomed to what you're doing. But you got a lot of heavy braking here. Talladega, you're just wide open on the mat, kind of a chess game here. It's all about handling, getting the horsepower to the ground and doing the things you need to do to make your car go through the corner.
Kevin, we always see a lot of the brake rotors glowing cherry red at this racetrack. Some guys, it's glowing early. Some guys, it's late. Will brakes be an issue here at Richmond tonight, you think?
I don't think they'll be an issue, but I do think that they'll be glowing, and ours will probably be some of the first ones glowing, so that's pretty normal for us.
All right, Kevin, have a good run. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
Kevin carrying one of our ESPN high-definition onboard cameras during the race tonight. 7 more, including Justin Allgaier in the Verizon wireless car, Matt Kenseth with the Ford Drive 1 camera, Kyle Busch with his NOS machine, Brad Keselowski, the Nationwide Insurance camera, Kevin Harvick, we talked about, Stephen Wallace, the 5-Hour Energy camera, Jamie McMurray, he's pretty deep in the starting field with the Hellman's camera, and Trevor Bayne with the Aaron's machine, the 99 car, will ride with him as well. And our over-the-wall reporter tonight is Ben Stager from Fairfax, Virginia, up by D.C. Hey, Ben, have a safe night tonight. The rear tire carrier for the 62 car of Brendan Gaughan. And let's check down on pit road one final time before it gets really noisy. Dr. Jerry Punch, take the advantage of the quiet.
Well, if you poll the top crew chiefs, they'll tell you the pit strategy very simple. They got 4 sets of tires behind the wall, a 250-lap race, so they're going to stop every 50 or 60 laps depending upon the caution flags. The key, having the freshest tires on for that final 50 laps. Mike.
And Doc, nothing enhances pit strategy more than having the #1 pit stall. Tonight, that belongs to our pole sitter, Kyle Busch, enabling him to get off pit road rather easily, although it's not as easy as you might think. Pit exit is actually 90 feet in that direction. He has to get there in order to maintain his track position. Kyle Busch doesn't need much of an advantage, though. He's won here 3 times in the Nationwide Series, including twice from the pole, Dave.
Mike, Justin Allgaier has pit stall 32, which means he's got guys behind him, he's got guys in front of him, and if they go down a lap early, well, then they won't have the same chance to pit with him on the same caution flag lap. So he doesn't wish them any ill will, but if that happens, he'll have a clear shot in and out of pit road. That would be great for this team that won the first short track race of the season at Bristol. Alan?
All right, David, thank you. Justin, 4th in the championship coming in, and he's got a little bit of work to do on pit road, as you heard Dave say just a minute ago. Got some laps to get that work done, though.
Yeah, you can see this track's a lot different than last week.
Yeah.
250 laps, and it go about 100 to 110 laps on fuel. They'll want tires a little bit sooner than that, but that's how far the tanks will go.
Of course, Brad Keselowski won that race at Talladega on that track, so very different from this. He and his team getting all pumped up for the race a minute ago. Listen.
You down there all ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Man, nice qualifying on the Cup side, and we'll have a good one tonight. Remember the big picture, just like you've been running. Let's have a good one.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Man, I heard that a lot of times out of that guy. I mean, Roger Penske comes across the radio and says, okay, guys, you worked hard. You did good. He really pumps you up, takes care of the team. And I will tell you, when I was driving at this particular track, this is the point that made me the most nervous, Andy. I even had people come across and say, hey, you know your tires are flat? And it's because
they look flat. You were running them about half flat on the left side. I think that was your trick.
Oh, I was always getting amped up at this track. This is my nervous time right now, getting ready for this start.
As they head into turn number 3, 43 strong. Ready to go 250 laps. Nervous, as Rusty said. Pulling on the belts, getting ready to go as the pace car pulls off. A very warm day, a very long day for these drivers behind the wheel of these cars. But these are the laps that count as we get ready to go racing in Richmond. Cleanly through 1 and 2. Kyle Busch out front. Jockeying for the bottom. Looked like Carl Edwards maybe had a little wiggle down there and is sliding up the track again.
Man, this is the part in the race right now as a driver. You got to be extremely patient. Your air pressures are down. I mean, you see you can pass this guy, but you got to pass him at the right place.
Yeah, but how patient can you be? You're looking at Kyle Busch now getting a huge lead on the first lap. And Reed Sorensen now looks like he's pulled a little bit of breathing room on Keselowski, but Keselowski's coming back on him a little. You see here, you got Logano now working underneath Trevor Bayne.
Well, Andy, you know, one thing that the guys got to remember is that they practice during the day. They really don't know what their car is going to do until right now. I mean, it's getting dark here in Richmond. The track has cooled down a lot. This is a time when you're going to know what kind of setup you got.
So Keselowski in the 22 through to second. First side-by-side back there, Trevor Bayne and Greg Biffle, 99 and 27, and that's for 6th and 7th.
See Biffle working the top side of that track, a lot of momentum up there, and it's coming in pretty quick. This track is notorious for working on the bottom, the middle, and the top. And you saw Biffle there right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't think Biffle really wanted to be up there right there at that time, but he got kind of forced up there and worked it to his advantage. Now he's got the position on Trevor. Now you see the 12 car working the outside, so track's coming in nice.
Talked about Justin Allgaier having a little bit of work to do on pit road, doing some nice work out on the racetrack there. Outside lane. Now that 49 car you're seeing just coming off of pit road, that's Mark Green. They were changing a tire as just after the field went green, so something not right there with that 49 machine.
That's the last thing you want to have happen. You'd be stuck on pit road at the start of the race, losing all those positions. But look at Allgaier on the top side of that track, man. He's up there earlier, and I thought he could be able to do that, Andy. He's looking good up there. Now back to the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like 1 and 2, they want to be on the bottom. There's more grip down there. 3 and 4, they're able to make this move on the outside.
Kevin Harvick started 11th, trying to take 8th spot away from Trevor Bayne. I love Dave's question to him. Kevin said he'd had to take his lumps in qualifying to be good for the race. Dave asked him how lumpy his car was. So we'll see how lumpy his car is here in these first 100 laps.
You know, what Kevin tell us last time, he started 18th or something like that. In 50 laps, he was leading the race. He's got a lot of confidence, but the guy on the top side, Trevor Bayne, he's got a little confidence right now. I mean, he's had some problems this year. Not of his doing, but, you know, Andy, we talked earlier, a lot of these drivers, man, they've been looking forward to tonight to get this rhythm back and get going. And this 99 of Trevor Bayne is one of those guys.
right behind Harvick in that 16 car, Matt Kenseth. Roush Fenway team having races unsponsored, and as we done, little contact there.
Little contact. Looks like Kevin says, I want that spot now.
And he's got it. Continuing on there, Roush Fenway having some unsponsored races and having taken, speaking of lumps, some lumps in this first part of the season, has put Matt Kenseth in the car for this week and next week. Picked up some sponsorship for this week and next week, and out there trying to give these guys a boost. The guys that work on the car, Andy, when you've taken some lumps early in the season.
Well, obviously Matt Kenseth is very talented. See, now here he's working right behind Kevin Harvick right when they got together. Ooh. Just a little contact. But when you have somebody like Matt Kenseth, he is so good with getting the car where it needs to be. And that's a big key. And not only does he have talent to get it done on the racetrack, which he'll do tonight. I mean, you'll see him up front all night. But he's one of those guys that really knows how to get the car where it needs to be.
I know. If I could never tell my crew what they needed in a car, it totally confused the team. They never could figure out what to do. And, I mean, they've had some lumps lately, like you said. And to get Matt back in this car and let him help the pit crew, let them build their confidence back up to say, we do have a good car or we got a bad car, that's going to help Stenhouse, that's going to help Brown, it's going to help everybody.
So you see the distance from 10th place Matt Kenseth to leader Kyle Busch, who has Brad Keselowski trying to close in. It's early on, under the lights on a Friday night in Richmond. After all the weather problems the NASCAR Nationwide Series has faced the last couple weeks, a beautiful day in Richmond, Virginia, turning into a beautiful night for most in the field. Willie Allen been the fastest mover through the first 12 laps. Then he was the guy that wound up bringing out the first caution.
Well, you take a look at Michael Annett right on the bottom of the racetrack. This is the spot in the track, Andy, where you're still turning. And you see his car gets a little loose right there. He chases up the hill, and he gets right in the side of Willie Allen, blows out that left rear tire. And I will promise you, that was not intentional. That was just an ill-handling car early in the race.
Yeah, that's one of those things about this track. It seems like there's a blurry line between the corner and the straightaway because you're still turning the race car as you come up off that corner.
Oh, absolutely. It's got a lot of radius to it. Still pulling on the wheel.
Oh, Kevin LePage in that yellow car just missed Willie. So caution's out. None of the front runners have stopped. We'll come back for the restart. Got a lot of motorsports on the ESPN networks this weekend. Richmond Sprint Cup pre-race edition of NASCAR Now tomorrow morning at 10 Eastern time. Saturday afternoon, ABC 1:30 Eastern, the Eyes on IndyCar Series from Kansas. Then it's the AAA Insurance NHRA Midwest Nationals qualifying tomorrow 9 Eastern ESPN2. The final Sunday night at 7 Eastern. And the NASCAR Nationwide Series moves to Darlington next Friday night at 7 Eastern. Will be a great race. We hope you join us for that. Our first caution of the day has given Mark Green a lap back, the first driver a lap down or more down. So Mark, the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass winner in that 49 car as we get set to go back to green. Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski on the front row.
Wow, Kyle looked like he went early there. I don't know where those marks. You can't see the marks from here, but got a good start.
And we talked a couple weeks ago about how controversial those restarts are. Kyle got busted in Phoenix, Arizona for jumping a restart. And boy, that looked early right then, or else he just got through the gearbox perfect.
All over here.
And caution is out.
Caution's out. Caution is out.
There is debris off of one of the cars.
My windshield's covered in oil.
There's the debris rolling down the racetrack. It almost looks like a piece of a drive shaft out of a car, Andy.
It could be. We have a car rolling slowly on the pit road now. It looks like Mike Wallace. Could have come out of his car. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
See it. Yep.
Andy, it looks like there's oil all the way at the start-finish line down in the turn
gear.
one.
We're going to need a gear.
Yeah, look at the oil behind the car right there, guys.
The gears come out of it. The bumps dragging and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's the front of the third member. That's actually the pinion gear and yoke.
Man,
wow, I've never seen one go up like that.
And so all that oil will be the rear gear.
Yeah, and that's all rear end grease, 90-weight gear oil. It'll be all over the racetrack, and that stuff is so slick. See right there, Steve Arpin just about loses it.
Wow.
Probably catches some of that debris. You can see part of the drive shaft coming out.
Well, that was his radio we heard saying, my windshield's covered with oil.
Oh, yeah, and it'll be hard to clean.
No wonder.
Yeah. Stuff's thick as molasses.
A little closer look at what we just saw laying on the racetrack in pieces in our Craftsman Tech garage. Tim Brewer?
Alan, from where I'm standing, it looked like it shelled the pinion right here. What happened? When he dropped the hammer on it, the dry shaft came back here in this area right here. That's the weak point in the gear, and he shelled that thing off. That's what sent that dry shaft out of the car.
I tell you what, Andy, it looked like those 5 bolts that hold that pinion in got blowed out of the front of that housing also. It looks like we saw it bouncing across the racetrack.
I've never seen a failure like that in all of my years of racing.
That was huge.
I've seen a lot of them.
So caution out and a little bit of cleanup work here to do as Mike Wallace has taken his 0-1 car back to the garage. And again, Steve Arpin in that 7's got a little work to do to clean up his windshield. Now, Willie Allen, remember the guy who got bumped around and spun to bring out the first caution? He is the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass recipient under this caution. So Willie is going to come around and get back on the lead lap, so good for him. And he could use all the good he can get on this night after a very difficult week, Doc.
It certainly has been difficult. Willie Allen driving with a very heavy heart. Yesterday afternoon, he lost his father, Al Allen, at the age of 55 after about a 1.5-year battle against Lou Gehrig's disease. It's a very tough. Willie said he was my best friend, he was my mentor, and he wanted me to be here. But Willie was there at the bedside in Centerville, Tennessee. And then when his father passed away peacefully, Willie got in the car with his wife, Kristen, and drove all night to get here to Richmond, arriving 5 minutes before practice began at 9 o'clock this morning. In qualifying, all Willie could do was hold his head down and think about his dad. He started last today and was the biggest mover early on. He said, I'm driving with a heavy heart, but I'm going to drive knowing that my daddy's watching and wanted me to be right here in this race car where he put me years ago.
Doc, thanks. Certainly a lot of people thinking about Willie Allen as he races with a heavy heart here tonight in Richmond. Back on the lead lap as we work caution for the second time. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Richmond. Be sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We work caution for the second time in the race after Mike Wallace had a mechanical problem that's left a lot of this front stretch and the entry to turn 1 covered in rear end grease that safety officials are trying to mop up. But Rusty, if you're behind the wheel of that 18 car for Kyle Busch, is that going to affect what lane you choose for this restart?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I'm going to go to the top of the racetrack. I mean, that's what I would do if I was Kyle Busch. Now, the guys on the bottom, they got to be careful because their right side tires are going to be in that mess. And I don't care, Alan, how much they clean that track up. It's still going to be a little loose in the early going until they get some rubber laid down on top of that and get it cleaned up.
Yeah, we were watching Kyle Busch. Thought that he went early because the restart zone here is really close to turn 4 because the start-finish line is really not in the center of this front straightaway.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that. I mean, this start-finish line is a little bit farther back than most tracks. It's not right in the middle of the front straightaway. And it appeared to us that he really went early, but he didn't. You see it there, the two red lines in the wall and the single line?
Yeah, they're almost in turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's way back in there.
Well, Kyle will get another chance to be side-by-side with Brad Keselowski for a restart in that zone and heading off into where that rear end grease has been put down and cleaned up. And we'll see how it all turns out in just a minute. Major League Baseball continues on ESPN Sunday and Monday. First, Jose Reyes and the Mets face division rival Philadelphia, led by Ryan Howard, on Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell at 8 Eastern. Then Torrey Hunter and the Angels take on Uke and the Red Sox on Monday Night Baseball, presented by Sears Lawn and Garden at 7 Eastern. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN3.com Sunday and Monday. Well, we've had a couple of quick cautions here in tonight's race at Richmond. This one a little bit of a lengthy cleanup after that rear end grease was dumped out of the back of Mike Wallace's car down from the start-finish line towards turn 1. Talking about the restart from the first caution and where the zone is. And besides those lines on the outside wall, a little extra reference put on the track for the drivers here at Richmond as well.
Yeah, you see these marks are pretty visible for the driver, but you see that those two lines on the inside are also a reference, but that's a short zone. I mean, you look at that, he has not a lot of discretion. He has to go in that zone.
Well, remember that, well, I shouldn't say remember, because a lot of folks probably have never heard the fact that, here, well, first let's take a look.
Yeah, he goes exactly in that zone.
Yep.
It looked like it was early to us because he was almost in the turn. We usually see him restarting on the straightaways, but this track, like I said before, the start-finish line is really shifted towards turn 4.
Well, you know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a lot of controversy out in Phoenix, Arizona, and Kyle Busch was in the middle of that controversy. And I will promise you, he knows exactly where those lines are right now based on what happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you see this, there's your starting line right there. And it's just, you can see it's not in the center of that front straightaway.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed, Andy. You look at the white start-finish line, folks, in a front straightaway. It's usually right in the middle of the front
see it about right here.
And it's been this way, Andy, for a long time. We just haven't caught it. I mean, a lot of drivers just don't catch it, but we've got these good aerial views. We see it. And when Kyle Busch took off earlier, you and I both said, man,
I don't think everybody else was ready to go. He was.
He was ready.
All right, officials saying we're 2 laps from the restart here. Let me just mention the length of that restart zone. The rule of thumb that NASCAR officials use to determine it is whatever the speed limit of the track is in miles per hour times 2 in feet. So if the speed limit here is 40 miles an hour, then the restart zone would be 80 feet long.
I didn't know that.
Those 2 lines.
Yeah, that's their formula, but it seems awful short here. It doesn't give the leader much discretion. He has to go in that zone. He can't go before the first one. He has to go by the second one. So
and if he doesn't go by the second one, the single line, the guy on the inside can take off.
And the green flag is coming out. The flagman is instructed to throw the green flag when the leader passes that zone.
And the guy who's not leading that race, he won't get a penalty for that.
Trevor Bayne started in 6th position. He's running back in 11th spot now. Dave?
Trevor Bayne is a rising star in this series, Alan, and as such, he has some rookie stripes there, and this is the way that crew chief Jerry Baxter and Trevor saw the world after they got kind of bumped by Kevin Harvick.
Hey, brother, one of these days, you'll be able to lay the wood to Harvick like that. He was getting all pissy because it was early in the race, but the roles will be reversed one of these days. Be a good time, man.
Heck, he's the one sticking it in there like that, driving in like a maniac, getting into the corner.
You know how
Trevor Bayne had a great qualifying run. Hopes to keep it up front there if he can just avoid those veterans.
And talked about the young guys trying to get out there and race with the big ones. Trevor Bayne getting a break and a chance.
Yeah, an interesting choice right here, though. Kyle Busch does choose that inside lane on this restart. I guess he feels like they got it cleaned up pretty well.
Yeah, he's driving a car. He knows what he's doing. It's just from up here. I don't know if I'd do that. I wouldn't drive through it. I'd drive around it.
Well, one thing about it, he's got a better view than anybody.
Yeah, the way he's been restarting, he'll be able to choose his lane.
Yeah,
when
there he goes.
There.
He clears them.
Yep.
So now he can do what he wants.
Oh, 3 wide.
Oh, yeah, this could get interesting.
You see him kicking up a little bit of dirt down there.
Yeah,
the track's not totally clean yet.
He got a little bit of grip, though. I mean, he didn't lose a lot. Not as much as I thought he would.
Well, you got that right. I think NASCAR did a good job cleaning the place up because the guys are getting through it pretty good right now.
So Reed Sorensen in that 32 through the 3 wide to 2nd spot. Keselowski back to 3rd. And Allgaier in the 12 who tried the 3 wide. Wasn't able to get any farther than 4th. And now Keselowski back after Sorensen for 2nd.
Brad's got a good car tonight. Saw that first run there. He was able to run Kyle Busch down after Kyle got a pretty good lead like we see he has now. He has about a 10-car length lead.
I'll tell you, this brand new team that Keselowski's with, they've really got their act together. And I talk about this crew chief, Paul Wolf, a lot. I know you're probably getting tired of me saying that, but the guy's really lit this team up. He's been a veteran crew chief in the Nationwide Series. This guy won last weekend. A little controversy with the shock in the spring. But all in all, a good, strong car all year long so far.
Fighting for 2nd spot, Mike.
Yeah, and as Rusty was talking about, this is a relatively new team. I spoke with Paul Wolf this afternoon about that very aspect. He said they didn't even really get started on building this fleet until November after Homestead. Now they've got 12 cars. They're very competitive, but as good as they've been so far here in 2010, he expects better things because just now they've begun to build the baseline. They didn't have that back in February.
And I want you to look, these 2 cars have been racing each other side by side. They're running at least equal lap times and maybe a little faster than Kyle Busch. They've closed the gap just a little bit on him.
You know, as the race goes on, Andy, down especially in turn 3 and 4, when I was driving the car, I used to always like the high side of that track. I always got more grip up there. Seemed like I'd run harder off the corner. And if I got pinched down on the bottom now like Keselowski is, man, that made it hard for me to get that straightaway speed I really wanted by the end of the front straightaway.
Now, this is the kind of situation that makes you love Richmond and at the same time, if you're a driver, frustrates you. Because Keselowski, he can't use all the track and needs it from that bottom of turn 2, right? And Sorensen is able to keep him pinned down, and he can't finish the pass.
Well, I really think if you change positions and the 22 was on outside, he'd be running faster. Keselowski has obviously got a good car right there, but I totally agree with you, Alan. You get locked in that bottom, you just can't let that car run up the track and pick up that speed.
So now he's going to drop back in, let it cool down, regroup, and try it again, right?
Yeah, cool his brain down, too. He's getting frustrated. He's got to get it together, be patient. I guarantee you, spotter's calming him down. It's a long race. Be cool, buddy. You got a fast car.
Now, while you watch the race for second on the left, here's Clint Boyer and Paul Menard, 21 and 98, back in the pack. This is for 20th place. Kind of surprising for those two guys.
Both of them. I mean, Paul's had a great season so far. You just don't expect them to be that far back. I expect to see him farther up as the race goes on.
And Clint Boyer, former winner here. The Childress team, always really strong here. But
Keselowski finally makes the pass on Reed Sorensen and gets clear. Now we'll see if he can run down Kyle Busch.
Let's talk about Clint Boyer, Doc.
Yeah, Clint's run awfully well here in the past, but that's not happening tonight. I talked to him after qualifying and said, Doc, it's going to be a long night for this 21 bunch. We just cannot find a way to grip the racetrack. He's already been on pit road in that first caution flag on lap 14, said it was so loose they came in and made a major track bar adjustment, and he's still fighting a race car he can't get to really get in the corner with and get to turn in the middle of the corner coming off.
Doc, I've been watching Clint Boyer's car, the 21, and as he gets in the corner, the front brake rotors are really starting to light up in this car. That's an indication to me, Andy, that the car's not really handling right now.
Well, you know, I would think that too, but we see that so much now. We see these rotors glowing redder and more heat in them. And even Kevin, we talked to Kevin before the race, and he said he expected his rotors to be glowing red. He expected to be using them, but didn't expect it to be a problem.
I know when I was driving, I get down the corner, I would try to arc it out, and if I couldn't do that, Alan, I find myself getting straighter at the corner and getting all over the brakes, and I was really burning my brakes down, and that's why I needed my spotter to say, hey, Rusty, those brakes are glowing. You better do something about it.
By the way, Boyer in that 20th spot, the farthest ahead of the few cars that did pit under that caution earlier. Mentioned that Kevin LePage has taken his car to the garage. This is 22nd place. 34 is Tony Raines and Front Row Joe. In that white 87 car, James Buescher in the 1.
See right behind this group, Coleman Presley in the 23. It's a good battle.
All right, so while they're knocking around there, here's Reed Sorensen trying to hang on to third spot. And those Penske Dodges, boy, they've been strong this year.
All year long. Well, I mean, we talked to Justin Allgaier a couple weeks ago, and it's like a light switch went off from the performance he had at the end of last year to now. I mean, this team has really got their act together. That Verizon Dodge has been flying all year long, and he says it's because they put new bodies on this car, a new style of thinking, and he really thinks that's what woke this car up.
And I bet they're not being hurt by the fact that they've got a teammate to share information with as well, and a pretty darn good one in Brad Keselowski. How about this 12 car, Dave?
You know, that is one thing that crew chief Chad Walter told me about these two teams, the 12 and the 22. He said it's eerily good how well these two teams work together. I've been in this situation before, and they work well, but I've never seen anything like the 12 and the 22 with Paul Wolf, the crew chief. So they're working well together. The drivers are competing against each other, and it's really showing up in their performance.
Allgaier knocking around behind Reed Sorensen here, trying to get that third spot from him. And again, there's that spot, turn 2, get underneath him, but can't get by him.
Okay, look right here up front, boys. This 22 car is running down Kyle Busch. He's closed that gap quite a bit. About a tenth faster the last 2 or 3 laps in a row.
Yeah, and in my eyes right now, this track has went through a transition now. Now it's about completely dark here in Richmond. The track has cooled down a lot, and every time it cooled down when I was driving, I always got better grip. I could run different lines on the track. It wasn't as slippery, and the car always handled a little bit better.
So Allgaier not yet able to complete the pass on Sorensen for third. Keselowski running down Kyle Busch for the race lead. And we have put 50 laps of the 250 distance on the board. And by the way, Kevin Harvick's car, pretty lumpy. He's moved up to 5th, looking pretty good. Watch that 33 car coming to the front. Still early in the going tonight here in Virginia's capital city. Great race for the lead in Richmond. You are seeing it from our aerial coverage, brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Brad Keselowski in the 22 has caught Kyle Busch in the 18. Now can he finish the pass?
That's the tricky part. Catching him was one thing, but now trying to make this pass, and this is where it gets tricky, like you said, with completing the pass. It gets frustrating sometimes, but See right here, Brad Keselowski's giving him a run.
Well, he's giving a run, but Andy, you're exactly right. This is one of the toughest racetracks to run side by side with and be able to make a pass, but he got enough distance getting in.
Yeah.
Then now I just drove right past him.
I just saw Kyle Busch make a good move right there. He just let him go, and see his brakes were kind of glowing. He might just cool it for a little while and see if his car will come back to it.
Yeah, totally agree. We're only 60 laps in this race right now. Why tear your equipment up right now? Why burn the brakes up? All that stuff. Be patient, man.
Kyle saying anything on the radio, Mike?
It's not what he said on the radio, but it's what Jason Ratcliffe said to me before the race. He said they were thrashing in practice. They weren't really sure where they would be when they started this race. And despite the fact that Kyle has led the majority of this race, he wasn't all that pleased, saying the car was very loose. So loose, in fact, they've already contemplated pulling a spring rubber on their first stop. So this car's still not dialed into their liking.
And this track could come back to him. If his car's loose, the track's still going to cool down some, and he still has a chance of the track actually coming back to him as well.
Look at this for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Well, these guys have been going at it right here. You can see Justin Allgaier. Oh, and he gets into Reed Sorensen just a little bit off turn 2.
But was it enough to bend that right front fender?
It didn't look like it had any damage on the right front when he went by that last time. I'm really sensitive to that stuff right there, because all year long, Andy, we've been seeing guys rub fenders, and 4 or 5 laps later, they're blowing the tires out because of it. You know, Reed Sorensen doesn't look like he's even trying to get to the bottom of that racetrack. He's chose that second lane. He's been staying up there all night long. That's where his car's working the best right now.
Yeah, he's giving the guys plenty of room to race underneath, but he's using that lane to make some good speed.
The Harvick is absolutely filling Allgaier's rearview mirrors here. Is that unsettling?
Well, for Allgaier, it's probably unsettling, and for Kevin, he's probably getting frustrated. Now, he knows that the 32 of Sorensen's working good in the racetrack. He can't get nothing done on the top. He's going to have to get on the bottom because Sorensen's not going to move.
How much of your focus is on this battle with Reed Sorensen and the guy that's right on your bumper, though?
Well, I mean, it's definitely, if I'm Kevin Harvick, you know, I am looking what's going to happen to both of these guys. And if I'm Reed Sorensen, you know, I know Kevin's back there breathing on my bumper. Kevin's the guy that's got to be patient right now. Now, it's a whole different ball game at the moment because Allgaier's got gone now.
One car headed to pit road just in front of them. We'll check out who that is. Let me mention Morgan Shepherd has just taken his car to the garage. Josh Wise is off the track. Kevin LePage, David Gilliland, Mike Wallace still behind the wall, along with Mark Green, Derek Cope, and Brian Keselowski. And that was on pit road, the 09 car, I believe, of Hermie Sadler, making his first start of the Nationwide Series since 2004.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, he's from this area. He's excited about it. It's got a good sponsor on there. He's all pumped up, Hermie is, I can tell you that.
So Justin Allgaier in the Verizon car up to third position. Remind you that if you're a Verizon Wireless customer, text CHAMPION to 43776 for exclusive Champion Chats content from our NASCAR Now Roundtable panel. The one you'll get this week is talking about Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, and what Rick Hendrick has to do to keep that from disrupting the championship flow of that race team. 67 laps down, Brad Keselowski, the second leader of tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race in Richmond.
John Forrest will turn 61 this week, but he's not slowing down. The 14-time funny car champion is leading the points with 3 wins this season. Here at St. Louis, he's looking for back-to-back. Larry Dixon leads the top fuel points, 3 wins this year, but he's never even been to a final round in St. Louis. Qualifying Saturday at 9, finals Sunday at 7.
Look forward to the NHRA action this weekend. They've had some spectacular races this season. It's been a great season for auto racing in general.
Oh, it has been. Racing's been great. NHRA's fun to race. Tomorrow I'm going to be sitting at the house watching Indy cars, watching drag racing. We got it all right here in ESPN, and I'm happy to see that.
So Brad Keselowski leads at lap 74, about to complete the 75th lap. He's moved away from Kyle Busch by about 0.8 of a second. There's the gap. Now looking a little bit farther back, we're going to find Jason Leffler's car, the 38 machine. Now, this is a track where we've talked about a couple of times already today, brakes being at a premium and glowing brake rotors and that kind of thing. Well, Jason's brake rotors have been glowing and maybe a little too much.
Yeah, we were just talking about brakes and how much better they are, but you can see right here, this is extremely hot. I mean, you're seeing that brake rotor, and now he's lost the pedal. We're hearing that he's almost totally lost the brake.
Dave, is that what he's saying?
Absolutely. Listen to the radio just a few laps ago from Jason Leffler.
Pedal's going away here, bud. 10-4, try to take care of it so we can stop here.
Craftsman Tech Garage. Tim, how do they handle this brewing brake problem?
The only thing they can do, Dave, if they've got any tape left on the nose, they have to take it off, put more airflow down through the hoses to cool the rotors. But when the brake fluid boils, that's an indicator. That's when air gets in there and the pedal gets real soft. It's not going to stop. What Brembo has done, we conduct airflow down through here and down through the caliper. See these exhaust holes right here? We get right in this area right here to cool behind the piston, because right here, that's where the fluid's at, and that's what created the problem.
You know, the teams have done, and the brake companies have done such a good job of keeping that caliper cool that they're able to use them more and more and more, and that's why you see that rotor taking all the abuse and getting so hot.
You know, Andy, when anyone come across the radio and tell me, hey, man, your brakes are really glowing red, I mean, the first thing I would do, though, is try to help that problem would be to start screwing more rear brake proportion to the back, actually putting more pressure on the rear wheels, taking some pressure off the front. Now, that'll help cool them down, but you got to be careful doing that, because if you put too much, that'll lock up the rear wheels going at the corner, and that's the problem here at Richmond. This is a real loosey place getting at the corner. Is that a word? I think it is.
It is now.
Yeah, that's a problem you can have getting into turn one.
And the other problem Jason Leffler has is because he's having to ease off, he's fallen 20 seconds behind the leader at a place where the leader's turning 24-second laps. So if this thing runs green for much longer, Leffler's going to find himself a lap
he'll
down.
find himself a lap down. Well, one thing I would be concerned about as his crew chief is what can we do to help the car, change the car to where you don't have to use as much brake, and we can take a little stress off of that. Because normally the brake problems are on ill handling cars. Not on the good handling cars, you don't usually see a brake problem.
And speaking of going a lap down, here's Brad Keselowski about to put Clint Boyer
Man, I'd have never
a lap
that.
down. 21 car, former Richmond winner. He's in 20th place, and he's a lap down. Couple of cautions, no pit stops for the leaders. We'll talk about when we might expect to see them on pit road in just a minute. Drivers in the top 5 have won 12 of the last 13 Nationwide Series races. They're dominating tonight. Riding on board the leader's car, Brad Keselowski, the second driver to pace tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race here in Richmond. Kyle Busch led the first 58 laps. Keselowski went by him and has been out in front ever since. He's opened up an advantage on second place of 3.5 seconds. He's hauling tonight. There's Brendan Gaughan on the move.
Yeah, you talk about those brake rotors getting hot. That car's got really hot brake rotors. I mean, that's the point where the crew chief, the spotters, got to be screaming at him.
Yeah,
watch those brakes.
One thing he's screaming is the leader's coming, so you better get all you got right now.
That was for 16th place. Trevor Bayne fading back a little bit. So what do? You want to save the brake rotors, but you got to keep them getting lapped.
Yeah, that's a hard little thing to handle there.
Alan, just what I said. I mean, I'd be trying to put some rear proportion to the back. Do anything you can not to lose the speed out of the car, but cool the brakes down.
Here's Greg Biffle in the 27, Joey Logano in the 20, and they're racing for 7th place. Andy, we thought Logano would get right up there and challenge for the lead in this one.
Well, there's still a lot of time left. You know, he didn't charge up there at the beginning, but he's one of those guys that really does, you know, work on his car and peaks at the right time at the end of the race.
His 2017 finds himself in an interesting situation. Because of a change in laws regulating smokeless tobacco, that sponsorship on that 27 car has to come off the machine at the end of June. So they've only got 4 more races with Greg Biffle in that car and with sponsorship before they're looking at the unknown.
Yeah, and as good as this car's run, you would think that they wouldn't have much trouble replacing that sponsor. With Greg Biffle in there, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better package.
But talked with Gary Baker, the team owner, this morning. They're nervous. They don't have anything signed yet. Doc, they just lost a spot there, but having a solid run so far.
And they desperately needed, as you and I both spoke with Gary Baker, and Gary told me again right as they were climbing in the car and helping buckle in Greg Biffle. 4 races with Greg Biffle, as you said, 2 with Scott Wimmer at Nashville and Kentucky. And then for all intents and purposes, they could be done. But they've got some people watching tonight. He said if we can just somehow take advantage of one of these next 6 races and get the victory lane, we could have someone jump on board and finish out the year. And guys, they are 7th right now in car owner points.
Tough spot in the middle of the season to be trying to find sponsorship, but a good driver, a good team, and we'll see what happens with them. Now, speaking of good, that 66 car that just went by Greg Biffle, that's Stephen Wallace, and he's having a solid night. He started back in 19th.
Oh, we got a problem in turn 4 here. It's like a right front tire's gone down on this 43.
Legacy's car bringing out caution for the 3rd time.
No. Negative.
Well, he dodged a bullet. hardly ever you blow a right front tire at any racetrack and not hit the wall.
Yeah, that's a
especially
great
here.
job. Andy, I got to believe this caution came about the right time for a lot of guys. With 95 laps into it, a lot of brake rotors glowing. They needed to get these tires off, cool these brakes down now.
Yeah, need a little fuel about this time now, too.
You can see Paul Menard on the apron there with some damage to his right front. Looked like maybe fender damage, maybe even a right front tire down on that car. So he got a piece of this somewhere. Whoa, man.
Yeah, just blew.
Stay low.
Legacy doing a great job right there not to hit anything. I don't know how he did that.
And Menard is going to pit road there when the caution comes out.
I'm not sure he didn't have an issue with his right front tire.
He must have driven straight through because he's still out there with the damage.
Look at all that smoke coming off that right front. I mean, watching that tire blow, to me, that was just an overheat condition, I believe, which blew that tire out from brake heat.
Very likely. He's going to go a lap down right here as the field comes by, but they had to pit to get that tire off.
So Brendan Gaughan is going to get the free pass here, and this will bring all of the leaders to pit road for the first time in this race. I don't think a lot of them would have expected they'd run 95 laps before they got a chance to pit. But there it is. So now what? You only get a couple shots at this, and the distance between now and your last pit stop has just gotten shorter.
Yeah, and we just also talked earlier on our show, Alan, about how important coming down pit road is. I mean, as a driver, what can you do to mess it up? You can speed. You can just take off those jacks, and when you leave, you get busted. I don't think they really get busted coming into the pits. It's the excitement leaving.
And this is an opportunity for the crews to actually get in the game, so to speak, gain a few spots, and see if they can't contribute to getting a victory for their team.
Stops will be on the 98th lap. And Dave, you're first up.
The 12th car of Justin Allgaier, he was asked about his race car, and he said, well, how do my times look? Chad Walter told him, you are the man. Brakes look good, times look good. I don't want to change you much. Just a little left side air pressure for the 12 car. 4 fresh tires for Justin Allgaier. Doc?
Carl Edwards will get 4 tires and 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. He said the car is loose in the center, but shoving the nose coming off. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right rear and a track bar adjustment as well. Mike.
In conversations with his driver, Paul Wolfe told Brad Keselowski, whatever we do, it's going to be small. Just a little air pressure adjustment, trying to tighten him up. Also a 4-tire change. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch fighting a very loose race car. They're going to pull a spring rubber from the right rear as they're going to work on that car right now. A little bit slow. It looks like they got hung up a little bit in the pits. And they're finally away on the 18.
And as we check our nationwide insurance race off pit road, Kyle Busch losing 4 spots by them taking the time to pull that spring rubber and maybe having a little trouble doing that as well. We'll come back for the restart. Keselowski leads. Getting ready for the restart here in Richmond, Virginia with the Penske Dodge teammates Keselowski and Allgaier in the first and second spots. There's chaos on the track. There's chaos on pit road here in Richmond. Watch Ben Stager, the rear tire carrier for the 62 car. They just got the free pass. They come in to make their pit stop. Listen.
Right here.
Mike's taking the lug nuts.
Track.
You talk about tight quarters.
Yeah, that's real tight. I mean, those guys almost got hit right there. Let's take a look at this restart. See who gets down there first. You got Harvick.
Oh, look, it might be Harvick.
Rewind. That doesn't usually work that well. Keselowski clears Allgaier. Here's Harvick in 33, looking to the bottom side for second. You've got Edwards in 4th, Sorensen in 5th, Kyle Busch back to 6th on the restart in that 18 car. All I can think of is, all right, they were out there at the tail end of a 90-some lap green, run on the same set of tires. Now they got a fresh set of tires on, double them up, let them go, and everybody's just all got that wheel gripped tight.
They get all gripped up tight, but one of the reasons is because the air pressure's just so low in these left side tires and the right side, but more than left side. Man, when I used to drive these things, I get them down a corner, left side's bottoming out. Guys are hollering, you got a flat tire. The crew chiefs are going, no, it's just low. You're okay, man. Ride it out.
Carl Edwards getting by Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, Harvick, it looked like he made a big move on the inside, even looking at the lead under Keselowski. Now he's losing spots to that outside lane.
I say Edwards getting by Harvick, but there's that Richmond double file, 2 wide racing again. Now he's got him cleared. So that put Carl up to 3rd, Harvick back to 4th, then Sorensen and Kyle Busch, 32 and 18 for 5th. Biffle and Kenseth and Logano, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And right now, a lot of them needed that last pit stop. Put 4 tires on, adjust these cars, get them handling, because there's a lot of guys that weren't right. Obviously, that 22 car leading the race, he was right.
Quick mention, Shelby Howard took a wave around on that last caution to get a lap back.
Oh, looks like Biffle got real loose getting in the corner.
Yeah, he had chased that baby right up in there. And you know, Andy, in that first run, when they run those things that long, I mean, you would have to think that, I mean, they've really injured some of these brakes. They're not going to be as good, I wouldn't think, now as they were when they started.
They do come back fairly well, but like you said, to the 38 car of Leffler, he may have done some damage to his brakes that he won't be able to really get a full pedal back for this race. But, you know, you put the cold tires and wheels on them, and it kind of quenches those rotors back down. They get time to cool off, and they'll come back pretty good.
Carl Edwards, he's got it rolling now. 2nd place he's after here.
You know, we talked about Carl early in our broadcast that, you know, he's just not having a great year, but his average finishes up to this point right now are actually a little bit better than when he won his championship back in 07. But we've been so used to Carl up front dominating, and he's not doing it right now. But it just goes to show how tough the competition is out there in the last couple of years, how much stronger it's got.
You want somebody to look at as a favorite at Richmond. Carl Edwards has finished 1st or 2nd in 4 of the last 5 nationwide races at this track. That's a record that's kind of like, I don't know, Rusty's. It's good. Doc, he's having a solid run now. He didn't start off that well, but he's got it rolling.
They made some major adjustments, Alan, on the car. Remember what he said in the interview before the race? We cannot get greedy. We've lost so many points the last couple of weeks with finishes of 30 or worse. This car he's got tonight is the latest and greatest out of the Roush Fenway stable. It's the one they've been working on to try to get the weight adjusted. Crash on the racetrack.
That is Stephen Wallace, who's gotten turned around in turn 4, left rear down on that car.
I don't know if he hit anything. I don't think he did.
He restarted in 7th and went all the way back to 16th right off the bat. Looks like he had a left rear tire going down on the thing.
Blew a tire, get in the corner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Some nights it's just not your night, huh? But a lot of time left.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any damage, so actually some good luck in there. I mean, to blow a tire in traffic, spin, and still not have any damage, and stay on the lead lap, I'd say he did get a break.
Clear there.
He's actually gone a lap down now, running right behind Brad Keselowski.
Easy here inside. Got a couple more easy. We just hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake.
All right, so Stephen got away with that one. Lucky there. And you'll take all the luck you can get here at Richmond. Speaking of luck, Jason Leffler. Remember we talked about him falling back and getting a lap down? There's your lucky dog free pass. Going to come back around and get back on the lead lap. Leffler being shown in 17th spot right now. So 4th caution of the race is out, and we are still shy of halfway tonight here at Richmond International Raceway. Little Friday night racing under the lights in Richmond, Virginia for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And next Friday, we'll do the same under the lights, but this time it'll be at Darlington, South Carolina. And if you'd like to join us for that race or any of the upcoming events you see there on the Nationwide Series schedule, go to NASCAR.com/tickets and check it out. Love to have you join us. Road America standing out on my mind. That's going to be an interesting one with the 4-mile lap on the road course there in Wisconsin. Kyle Busch led the first 58 laps of this race. Now finds himself running in 6th after they had a little hiccup on their pit stop a few laps ago. Mike?
That's right, Alan. The team was trying to diagnose what happened. They looked at their replay, and it appeared the tire carrier may have knocked a lug nut off the left rear. That hung them up, slowed them down significantly on pit road. They lost 4 spots, and as you might imagine, Kyle not happy.
Great right side to a flipping up left. Come on, Jake.
Now the task for Kyle is to overcome that lost 4 positions, but he still needs a little bit more in his race car, looking for some side bite and some more forward bite, Alan.
All right. Well, Kyle's got some work to do to get back to the front. And again, we heard from Carl Edwards. We heard from Kevin Harvick. We talked about it before the race, how important pit stops and being mistake-free would be to this thing.
Oh, it's everything in the world. Pits are so tight. The track is so short. You got to be efficient in the pits if you're going to stay up front.
It's really hard to overcome, but if anybody can do it, Kyle Busch can do it.
He's got time, not quite to halfway as we go racing. And another little 3-wide shot at this one into turn 1. That's Allgaier down low.
All the way on the apron getting in the corner. Their teammates. They're racing each other hard, though.
Look out. Better make sure you're clear before you squeeze Carl Edwards into that wall, too, because you go across the nose of that one and slap the wall yourself. So Keselowski leads. Allgaier and Edwards for second. Here's Harvick diving to the bottom of Sorensen for 4th and 5th.
Hey, well, that's one of the cars we need to take a look at is Harvick's car. He's been marching to the front.
Oh, Carl gets a piece of the wall.
Yeah, he hit that thing pretty good, too. I mean, a lot of sparks flew off under that car. Back to Harvick. I mean, this guy, we've been watching him the whole race. Oh, little spin.
Michael McDowell has spun around. That is in turn number 2.
Fire it up, fire it up.
And the yellow flag's out.
Like Paul Menard might have outraced Boyer for that lucky dog spot on this caution.
All right, that's it. I'm going to quit talking about Harvick because every time I talk about him, something goes wrong.
All right, let's see what happened to Michael McDowell, if we can, in the 81 car. Top of the screen. Oh, he's up out of the groove. Yo. He's probably got his tires all full of junk when he get up there in the marbles, and then
something going on, right? That just looks weird the way that car went around right there.
It was awful slow when it was spinning, but Alan, I do agree with you. I mean,
did we break an axle, maybe?
I hit the gas, it turns right. When I get on the brakes, it snaps to the left.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like they've got something wrong. Maybe a trailing arm bushing out of it or something.
All right, so they'll be bringing that 81 car into pit road to get looked after. By the way, the 98 car, Paul Menard, does get the free pass.
Check the tires, and then if that ain't it, then we'll have to go to the garage and change an axle. Get ready.
Come to pit road under this caution. Menard and Mike Bliss being about the only couple here to dive onto the pit lane, and Clint McDowell heading in there also. Yellow number 5 out at Richmond, Virginia.
Move out of the way.
We have seen our share of sparks fly so far tonight as we come to the restart, a lap shy of halfway in Richmond. Remember the 3-wide dive bomb last time? Let's see what happens this time.
And man, look at that gaggle of cars coming off of turn 2, 3 and 4 and 5 wide. A lot of guys trying to get the lap back right there, racing for that lucky dog position.
A little dust up there in the back with Stephen Wallace and Kenny Wallace, and I'm not sure what all else, but everybody got away okay. Brad Keselowski the leader, Justin Allgaier second, Carl Edwards third, then the race for 4th. Reed Sorensen has it in that 32 car. Kevin Harvick was trying to get away from him, or get it away from him. Harvick just a minute ago talking about Justin Allgaier on his radio under the caution.
Better go tell the 12. Ain't gonna get many of those chops. Matter of fact, that might have been the last one. He can buy fenders just like he can buy sponsors.
Now, memory serves me correct. Kevin Harvick, Sprint Cup sponsor this year, moving to the team of that 12 car next year on the Sprint Cup side. I don't know if there's a little current events reference or not in there.
Kind of sounded like.
Don't want to be reading into things too much.
I'll help you read into it. You're exactly right at what he saw. He is bitter about that sponsor going over to Penske. I talked to him yesterday, or today. He's not happy about it. See him working the bottom of that racetrack. Harvick's car looks good down there. Reed Sorensen is stuck to the top of the track, but don't look now. Kyle Busch, he's trying to get back to the front.
A little trouble for Trevor Bayne. Shuffled up to the outside of a 3-wide here after losing some spots in 3 and 4. Ooh, that's close. Goodness, this is all going on from 18th place back. Boyer in that 21 is 18th.
It looks like Trevor Bain's got some damage on the right front fender, which is not going to help that car. Whoa, Clint Boyer gets in the back of him.
Speaking of move out of the way.
Boy, you can just feel the aggression right now.
Well, these cars are all racing for that spot, that lucky dog spot.
All right, so now we're getting the explanation of why Boyer moved him out of the way. There we go. Point, counterpoint. Boyer running an 18th spot. Bain back to 22nd after that little exchange. Now, somebody that I want to point out that has had a pretty solid race so far, that when I talked to in the garage earlier today, didn't have a lot of high hopes. Jamie McMurray in that 88. They weren't really sure what they had earlier today, but they have certainly had a good race.
Well, what they had earlier today wasn't that good. They didn't qualify very well, but definitely racing a lot better than they qualify.
Started in 27th spot, and McMurray has just taken away the 9th position from Joey Logano. Outstanding. Now another guy having a good rally. Brendan Gaughan. Remember, he got the free pass just a little while ago. That was back at lap number 95. Here he is about to move into the top 10.
Yeah, both these cars right here, the 62 and the one car, James Bush, are having a good run tonight.
Yeah, that one car needs a good run. They need to find a sponsor. You know, James Finch is talking about selling that team. I hate to see him do that. He's been great for this sport.
I guarantee if that car's in Victor Lane a little bit, he wouldn't be selling.
I totally agree with you. I mean, Bush needs a little help because we need Finch around in this sport. Good guy.
Harvick still trying to get that spot away from Sorensen. That's 4th and 5th. And just a mention of the James Finch story and his interest in selling his race team. He did say this week that that team will keep running for the rest of this season while he looks for someone to come in and take over.
You can see now just Kyle Busch running behind Kevin Harvick and Reed Sorensen, how hard it is to overcome just a little hiccup on pit road. We saw those, they dropped lug nuts on the left rear, and it's just tough to make these spots up at Richmond. Even though, like I say, you can see them running side by side, and it's got great side-by-side racing here. It's just so hard to make that pass and complete it.
I totally agree. I mean, look how rough it is for Harvick and the 32 of Reed Sorensen. I mean, Reed up there in the top of the racetrack. Kevin can't get going where he wants to. He spins the tires right there, getting up off the corner because he cannot let that car run up high. And Kyle Busch is going, you guys make your mind up. You're going to go high, you're going to go low, you're going to run side by side all day here.
Well, Reed's made his mind up from the start. He's been up in that lane. He's given them all the room in the world to race. They just can't get by him.
And Kyle trying to find who can clear the other one so they can move on, because at this point, maybe he feels like they're holding him up. So Harvick gets through. Now we'll see if Kyle can get around Sorensen. So Harvick up to 4th, and Kyle to try and pass Sorensen for 5th. Back in 1988, this racetrack was a pretty flat fairgrounds half mile, and legendary race promoter Paul Sawyer, in 6 months' time, bulldozed it and built this 3/4 mile layout. And right from the start, we've seen that kind of side-by-side racing that we're seeing tonight. It's just a place the drivers love, the fans love. It can be a little frustrating trying to clear somebody, but that's because the inside lane and outside lane are so equal. And that's what you want at a racetrack, right? Two raceable groups.
Yeah, we left this track, and the old fairgrounds track was just it really was rough. I mean, it was one of those real narrow, really hard place to race too. But when we came back here, it was just a show place of a racetrack. Almost, to me, the perfect racetrack.
And who would ever believe that Sawyer would have had the vision to build a track this shape and create side-by-side racing like you're seeing right between the 32 car, Kevin Harvick, now Kyle Busch, and the whole field all night long. This track is notorious for putting great racing on. And a lot of guys, when you talk to them, they say, what's your favorite track? And they go, oh, Richmond. If you're going to build a track, what would it be like? And they go, Richmond.
Yeah, you got to hand it to Paul Sawyer. He was real visionary.
First race held on this configuration, a nationwide series race. Who won it?
Harry Gant.
Very good.
How'd I do?
Very well, thank you.
Who's hit the wall? Who's the first one to hit the wall? It was me.
Andy Petrie. That night.
I had a pretty good wreck that first night, too. I remember landing on the roof of Jeff Bodine going into turn 1 of that inaugural race. What was that hot that night?
So Kyle Busch right here makes up the first position he's made up on the racetrack.
Since that bobble.
Since the bobble. And our aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. So Kyle Busch finally up to 5th. Sorensen under challenge there for Matt Kenseth for 6th.
Yeah, it's lap 98 when they made that pit stop. It's lap 143 now. That's just how long it took to make that spot up.
And he's 5 1/3 seconds behind Brad Keselowski, while the 22's been out there in the clear air. So past halfway here at Richmond International Raceway, Brad Keselowski in command of the race right now, up by 1.5 seconds on his Penske teammate Justin Allgaier.
Welcome back to Richmond International Raceway. Let's get you caught up on what's happened so far with the 5-hour energy rapid recap. Pole sitter Kyle Busch got out to the early lead, led the first 58 laps. Looked pretty good early on.
Very strong. Took off, ran off, and hid for about 58 laps until Brad Keselowski started tracking him down.
Yeah, came back and said, you know what, not so much. I want a chance to lead this. And at one point, he has been bad fast. Brad Keselowski was leading by 4.5 seconds at one point. And then, of course, the caution came out. Leaders came on for their first pit stop on lap 198. Kyle Busch, not a good stop. He lost 4 spots.
Lost 4 spots. Looked like they got hung up on that left rear and just had a tough pit stop, put him way back. But he is marching back up towards the front, Nicole, as we speak.
Kyle is back in 5th, and of course he wasn't too happy with that. But back up front, all pretty much the last few laps, it's been all Penske all the time. We've seen this before. Perhaps another short track.
Justin Allgaier's done an unbelievable job tonight. Brad Keselowski's toting the mail.
But back up front, it's Brad Keselowski, been leading the way for a while now, and he's leading his teammate Justin Allgaier by nearly 2 seconds. So let's get you up to speed with what's going on with the rest of the top runners. Mike Massaro kicking things off.
Well, Nicole, at the beginning of this run, your leader, Justin Allgaier said, Brad Keselowski said the car was just about perfect, except he may have a problem with his brakes. He's been asking his spotter to take a look at the rotors to see if they're glowing or not. It seems like whenever he hits them hard, they start to chatter a little bit, so we'll pay attention to that. That could be a developing problem for Keselowski as this race wears on. Dave?
So, Mike, what about this 2010 turnaround for Penske? Crew chief Chad Walter told me that in Allgaier's case, they saw it coming even before the short track Bristol win. The feedback that he was getting from Justin was so much better than last year, he knew that their time and expense had been worth it. Right now, Justin's struggling with grip off the corners.
Has not won a race in 2010, but he is a 3-time winner here at Richmond International Raceway. The car he's driving tonight is the newest short track car to come out of the Roush Fenway stable. Carl says the car is really coming to him after the air pressure and track car adjustment. He's hoping to be able to get his first win tonight. Mike.
Doc, during practice, Kevin Harvick was not very happy with his race car. He felt like when he was on worn tires, the car wasn't comfortable anywhere on the racetrack. However, his crew chief Ernie Cope said that's when Kevin Harvick really shines. He knows how to adjust to these types of conditions. That's exactly what he's done so far tonight. Doesn't seem to be bothering him. He's been running inside the top 5 throughout the course of the evening. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch trying to rally. You remember the last pit stop. He lost 4 positions on pit road. He's picked up 1 spot, although he's still looking for some more side bite and some more forward bite. The car not perfect, but he is moving forward, Doc.
And Reed Sorensen running back in 6th position in the 32 car. There comes Reed. He said as suddenly the car just loses its front grip. He ran the first 65 laps and the car was great. Lap 66, the front grip went away. He said now the front grip is gone again. He can only run the middle or upper groove and arc it in. Otherwise, the car will not turn at all. Behind him is the 27 car, and that is Greg Biffle. Greg said the car is very, very loose in. In fact, he said it is so loose in, I cannot arc the corner, which means it's going to be tight coming off. If we could fix the loose end, I could arc it and be much quicker getting off. Mike.
Doc, as Alan said, the 88 team weren't really sure what to expect this evening. The car was so loose off the truck, they worked on tightening it up, but Pops thought that if they set the car up tight, it would work and the car would come to him. That's been the case, and you can see McMurray now making his way through traffic, bypassing 1 car and picking up yet another spot. He has high hopes for this car, high hopes for McMurray, and feels like he could turn into a very solid short track racer, because after all, Tony Eury, this is the type of racing he loves, and he thinks that's going to rub off. Meanwhile, Joey Logano back in the 20 car. Well, he's been fighting that car most of the evening, saying the car's been all over the place. At some points it's been tight, at other points it's been loose. It has been a struggle. They've already talked about what they're planning to do the next time down pit road. They're going to make a wedge adjustment and really try
positions since the restart. Behind him, the 40 car of Mike Bliss. They're actually doing very well. Came down pit road a couple of yellows ago to put on a set of 4 tires. He didn't like the set he had on before. Crew Chief Gary Showalter told me they will have to stop again, both for fuel and a set of tires. Doc?
And give a call to Brendan Gaughan to the 62 team. I mean, they have fought some little gremlins early on. When the race began, they were having radio issues. Suddenly the radios just quit, and they couldn't communicate. They got that rectified. They worked on a loose race car that was loose in and tied off, and Brendan has been very, very patient on the racetrack as he now moves toward the top 10. Dave.
Kelly Byers in the 10 car has been very solid tonight as he gets pressure now from Stephen Wallace. Wallace will look to the inside. This relationship for Byers with Braun Racing started last year when he ran a few starting parks and then a full race at Iowa. He said, I like crew chief Stuart Cooper. They like the way I drove the car. And when it came time for me looking for a ride this year, we got together again. Doc?
And how about the 35 car? You say momentum doesn't work. Last week at Talladega, this car with Jason Keller, the $13 million man who has more starts in this series than anybody, had a top 5 finish. The team is so pumped up. They've got no sponsorship, very little funding, but here he is running in the top 15. Dave.
Doc, during this run, James Busher is going the wrong way. They made some adjustments to the car earlier that really helped it, and they cooled the car down. He was running really, really hot, was worried that he might blow the motor, but they got tape off the grill. He's been running cool, but he's losing positions right now from a loose race car. Doc?
How many times have you heard someone say, I'm going to Disney World? Well, that's exactly what Paul Menard did to learn how to drive a flat racetrack. The 98 car had issues in last year running at Richmond, but they took the car down to Disney World, and they said, you know what? He learned so much on the flat track. This car was really good at Phoenix and is running well here today. Nicole?
Of the 43 cars that started this race, only 16 cars are left on the lead wrap. Brad Keselowski picking them off one by one. More from Richmond when we come back.
Talk a little baseball for just a minute. Sunday and Monday night, first Jose Reyes and the Mets face Philadelphia and Ryan Howard on Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. That's at 8 Eastern Time. Then on Monday Night Baseball, presented by Sears Lawn and Garden, it's Torrey Hunter and the Angels taking on Kevin Youkilis and the Boston Red Sox. That's at 7 Eastern. Major League Baseball, ESPN and ESPN3.com Sunday and Monday. Under green with 76 laps to go here at Richmond International Raceway. Brad Keselowski out in front. And closest race among the lead group at the moment is Kelly Byers in 12th and Brendan Gaughan in 13th, trying to take it away. That's the 10 and the 62 cars. Again, just joining us, that 62 got a lap down earlier, got a free pass, made it up, and they've had some good speed in this segment of the race.
Here goes Harvick on the move now underneath Edwards.
I see Carl's been struggling just a little bit on late exit.
Look at, whoa, sideways off the corner. Wow.
That's loose.
That's loose.
And that's late on exit
Even
off a turn, too. Yeah.
So that puts Harvick up to third. That's the good news for Kevin. Bad news is he's 5.5 seconds behind Brad Keselowski. Now, we've had a long green flag run here. It's been a while. Let me rephrase. It's been a while since the leaders have pitted. They were last on pit road at lap number 98, right? Now, we get these long green flag runs at Richmond where guys are leaning on the brakes heavily. A lot of times the next caution comes through.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
You don't want me to jinx somebody?
No, don't jinx it.
All right.
I know where you're going.
Well, when it happens shortly, we'll tell you that's what I was talking about.
Well, I can tell you, if any of these guys got a problem entering these long runs, it just compounds that problem, makes it worse. And there's probably some cars out there in this long run right now, right on the edge of hurting right front tires because of this brake heat I've been talking about.
There, he said it.
He said it.
Oh, I said it.
I said it first. But
I'll take the blame.
Down there on the box, you're sitting there hoping that your car is not the one that's going to do it first, because somebody's going to if they run long enough, and you'll get a caution, but you don't want yours to be the one.
You know, Andy, if you're driving this car and you're feeling something weird, you just got to manage that thing in yourself. You know how hard you can drive it. You know if you're over driving it.
How about that? Jason Keller there.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, third fastest speed there at the line.
Now, we've been keeping an eye on the speeds at the line because for a while, Kyle Busch was running faster laps than Brad Keselowski was. But now, Brad's out in some clear track, and he's kind of turned up the heat again a little bit where these lap times are concerned.
Yeah.
Whoa, tight race in here now.
Well, that's the part of the racetrack where it's tough. Off of turn 4 right there, you're trying to let that car run out.
Yeah, you could hear him feathering that throttle.
And that's not for position. Bain's a lap down. 99 cars back in 20th spot. Menard is on the lead lap. He's in 16th. They're separated by a lap. You know, we're talking about the guys up front and how this 22 car, Brad Keselowski, has led so many laps tonight. He's led 122 laps so far, right? Well, a lot of times here in Richmond, guy that leads over 100 laps doesn't win. And in fact, here we go with that stat we throw out and see how it plays out at the end of the race. The race winner, and go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, stats can work against you, but I'd rather have a good car. If I've got a car that can lead the most laps, I think I'll take that over stats.
Well, here, just chew on this number for the rest of this race. The race winner in 3 of the last 4 Nationwide Series races here at Richmond has led less than 35 total laps. That's not even 35 at the end. That's 35 total.
And it probably gets right down to the very end of the race when the green-white checker restarts and when the tension's really hot, guys' cars are messed up, and that fella, whoever wins the race, puts 4 tires on, runs them down, and mows them down. And we'll probably see a lot of that tonight late in the race.
Looks like Carl Edwards was looking for 4 tires as soon as he can get them. His car's really loose. Kyle Busch does make up another spot now. He's in fourth place.
These guys are just babying the throttles up off the corners right now, just trying not to spin a tire. If you spin a tire a little bit too much, I mean, it's going to go away real fast. And talking about Carl Edwards spinning those tires off the corner, if he keeps it up, that's really going to hurt the tire. But he's a smart enough driver, I think, to manage those tires, manage that forward body, and know that he's got a problem here.
Even Kenseth there loose. You can see him in that shot.
By the way, let me just tie some of this together, that late caution thing.
Yep.
We've had a caution, the last run between the last caution and the checkered flag in the last 15 straight Richmond Nationwide races, 25 laps or less.
Woo.
Wow.
It can all turn around late in the race. Don't go away.
That's one of the stats I'd pay attention to.
Yeah, especially the way this season's been with all these late twists of plot. Got 65 laps to go. Brad Keselowski's dominating. Will he win? That remains to be seen. Back at Richmond International Raceway, and the picture has changed in tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. Caution's out. Jason Leffler had some sort of problem over in turn number 2, and he has brought out the yellow flag. Let's see what happened. He's been complaining about being out of brakes, remember?
Boy, that's a long slide.
All the way up.
And that just flat scared NASCAR. They said throw the caution flag. He didn't hit anything.
I wasn't sure there wasn't fluid coming out of that car the way he was sliding through there.
He's out of brakes, he said. He said he's out of grip, out of everything right now. He's just barely holding on.
He's down in 17th. He lost a lap in that last exchange, so that will put him off the lead group. Now, this will be a set of pit stops with 61 laps to go. Could be the last ones.
Well, you got to think it's going to be your last one, and you want to make it like it's your last one here.
Of course, history tells us it's not the last one. Dave, here they come.
Justin Allgaier is loose in, tight in the middle, loose off. To fix the race car, they will take down the air pressure in the rear tires to maintain the balance they want. They'll only put in 5 seconds of Sunoco fuel when they get to that point. Doc?
4,600 RPMs, 40 miles an hour for Carl Edwards. He is loose in the middle, and loose off. That pretty much sums it up. He's going to make a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel. Mike.
Kevin Harvick saying he needs a little bit more help in the center. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right side, a 4-tire change, and Sunoco race fuel on the 33 car as they go to work now on the left side of that race car. Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski off pit road. They made the same change they did last time. They went down ½ a pound on air pressure on the right side and a 4-tire change for the 22.
Check it out. Who got out second, picked up a couple of spots.
Yeah, Kyle Busch's pit crew stepping it up here when it's time.
Kevin Harvick lost a couple, back to 5th place. Bad time for that. Got 61 laps to go here at Richmond at a little shuffle of the top 5.
NASCAR Nationwide Series at Richmond is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
Getting set to go back racing here at Richmond International Raceway. A couple of quick things. The caution was for debris in turn number 2. Jason Leffler gets the free pass, so he is back on the lead lap. And now, look who's side by side on the front row for the restart, Keselowski and Busch. Now, Justin Allgaier's been alongside Keselowski for the last couple restarts, but they had a mistake on pit road.
Yeah, they were lucky not to lose any more spots. I mean, you see here, they're coming in for this is the money stop, we call it. Right front tire comes off fairly clean, but going back on, they have problems getting the lug nuts on. You see her chasing lug nuts, putting them on. Costs a lot of time. Usually this will cost you 4 or 5 spots. They're lucky it didn't cost them more.
Yep. So Allgaier back to 3rd with Carl Edwards 4th. Kevin Harvick losing 2 spots on the pit stops, back to 5th. But it's Keselowski and Busch side by side as we go at it. 57 laps to go.
Whoa, look at Allgaier on the inside.
Oh, he's aggressive on this one now.
To roughing up his own teammate.
It's time to go.
Remember Bristol, it was Keselowski. He moved around to get the lead and the win in that one.
Yeah, but Keselowski's got that bite on top of the racetrack. He's got that car going, and that is what he needs to get ahead of him. Forward bite at this track is everything in the world, especially off of turn 2.
The one that really hurt on the restart was Kyle Busch. When he jumped down there and made it 3 wide, right, Kyle's up there in no man's land. He's able to get back around him for second, but look at the lead Keselowski's already got.
Yeah, as soon as they get racing side by side, I mean, that just a flat kill you. The guy leading the race, he can get gone. His lap times are so much faster. And he's just looking in his mirror right now, manage himself. Now, let's take a look at Carl Edwards and see if he gets his car back together. Remember, it was real loose early. He's had this pit stop now to tighten it up. Could get himself back in action.
Heard Doc say it was loose in, loose in the middle, loose off. That's pretty loose everywhere. Looks like it's good now, though.
Yeah, he kind of fell off at the end of that long run. We won't have a run that long to finish this race because there aren't that many laps left.
Hey, you still got 54 laps to go. You still have to manage those tires a little bit, don't you, Rusty?
Yeah, you do. I mean, that's still a long way to go. And I really don't know what's going to happen if these cautions starts coming out with like 30 laps to go. Andy, what do you think? Do you think these guys will stay out? Or will they come down and put tires on? Because that's probably going to be the winning move, whatever happens there.
I know what I'm doing.
What are you going to do?
Tires.
Yeah, I'd rather be on offense than on defense. That's the one thing at a short track. If you're sitting out there on tires that are worn, you got guys chewing on your rear bumper that have 4 tires, put you in a bad spot. This is for 14th place. Mike Bliss and James Busher. Mike Bliss having a good run in the 40 car tonight.
Really solid, huh? Nice to see.
Tell you he's having a good run. I've been watching Coleman Presley in that 23 car. He's been strong. His lap times are good.
Right now, Coleman in the 23 is the first car 1 lap down. So if caution comes out, and again, history tells us it will, he might get back on the lead lap and have a shot.
Yeah, you know, Andy, Rusty, and Alan Coleman. Coleman I've known obviously his whole life. He works in my race shop down there, and he's so excited for this opportunity. He's going to get a chance to race again at Darlington, and he's done a great job tonight. Really just trying to make some laps, stay out of trouble, and get a good solid finish for that 23 team tonight.
Yeah, Brad, he's learned a lot tonight. I mean, just the whole race, he's steadily improving. You see passing lead lap cars now, and now in that lucky dog spot. So if he gets a lap back, he can make up some of those spots.
Well, Brad, and I'm sorry, Alan, to interrupt you, but you know, every now and then a young guy gets a standout race, and right now for Coleman, this looks to be his standout race. He's passed all those cars behind you. He's the first guy getting the lucky dog, and like I say, his lap times are so good right now. I mean, he's good enough to be in the top, really 6 or 7 positions right now. How fast he's running.
21-year-old third-generation racer. His father, Robert, won here 1992 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Robert here this weekend as well, watching his son race.
Yeah, and his grandfather, Bob Presley, one of the best short-track racers in the country.
Ever. Now, there's Brendan Gaughan in the 62. He's racing Matt Kenseth in the 16 for 11th spot.
See Brendan up in that top side of the racetrack. He loves to run around the top of the racetrack. Just feels more comfortable up there. And I don't care where he's running. He's always on the top. And we've tried to talk him down. He goes, no way. I feel good up here.
I've seen him run the top at Martinsville.
Yeah.
Out loud.
Talked to Brendan earlier today. He said, don't tell Rusty I said this, but this isn't my favorite racetrack.
Well, you just told him.
I know I did. He said, this isn't my favorite racetrack. Rusty hates it when I say that because he's had so much success here, but he's really done a nice job tonight.
Yeah, he has. I have to tell him you better get used to it if you don't like it, because guess what? The rest of your peers love this place. What makes you any different? But it takes a good run out of somebody to really turn him on about a racetrack. And if he finishes good tonight, I'm sure he'll like this place again.
You know what makes it different from driver to driver? Success rate.
That's what makes you like a track.
Yep. This is
I don't know which came first. I mean, the liking it and then success, or the other way around.
I remember when I first went to road courses. I hated road courses. Then I went there. I ran great. And I went, hey, I kind of like these places.
So the success is first.
It was all mental going into the race that you didn't like it.
So Brendan might have a different attitude about this at the end of the night. Now, Paul Menard,
out of Menard's car right there through that corner.
Yeah, he is on the lead lap. He got the free pass 2 cautions ago. The one when Michael McDowell spun a while back, lap 119. So that was for position. He's on the lead lap.
Well, take a look at Coleman Presley again. I mean, he's working the bottom of that track. This is a for real deal right here, guys. He's got a real hot rod tonight.
And Mike Bliss and James Busher, 40-1. That's 4 position. Jason Keller in the 35, 4 position, and that with him as well. Now, remember on the pit stop, Kevin Harvick lost 2 spots. Remember earlier, the radio transmission about the 12 and the chop.
They're racing fairly clean so far. It's like Allgaier giving him plenty of room.
I think that's the key right there so far. I mean, as long as Kevin's right there on him, and if the 12 car chops him, what some people call it when you cut in front of him, getting down in the corners, that'll make a driver aggravated, and that'll aggravate Kevin very, very fast.
You see Kevin's car when it goes off into 1 and 2 particularly, right? Show a little smoke behind it.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, and I'm not sure where that's coming from, but you do see that. I don't know if it's bottoming out a little bit or got a little tire rub when he gets all the way down on it. But I have seen that smoke.
Boiling the brakes or something. He's diving off into there so hard. I don't know.
Could be brake pads.
Just something to notice. There it was again, just a little bit. Now, McMurray and Logano there for 7th spot on the right, while Harvick continues to try and find a way around Allgaier, and now he's got Carl Edwards moving back in to join the party. Not missing anything up front. Keselowski's moved away from Kyle Busch by 2 seconds at this point. So Logano through for 7th spot. What's Brad waving at there?
Yeah, we saw him waving out the window there. Don't know what that was.
I think he just passed a lap car there and told him a thank you. Thanks, buddy, for giving me a little break right there.
All right, so Keselowski, having led 153 of the 211 laps we've run, in command, but he's still got a critical 39 laps to go at Richmond. The NASCAR Nationwide Series from Richmond. Be sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We are 32 laps away from the checkered flag in this one, and it has been a Brad Keselowski kind of night. He's led 160 of the 218 laps we've run so far. This just the beginning of a busy weekend of motorsports on the ESPN networks. Tomorrow morning, the Sprint Cup Series preview edition of NASCAR Now from here in Richmond, as well as up at World Headquarters, 10 a.m. Eastern, ESPN2. Tomorrow afternoon over on ABC, the Eyes on IndyCar Series from the Kansas Speedway, 1:30 Eastern Time. NHRA Midwest Nationals AAA Insurance qualifying tomorrow 9 Eastern ESPN2. The finals on Sunday at 7 Eastern ESPN2. And then it's on to Darlington for this Nationwide Series. That's next Friday night, 7 Eastern ESPN2. The old track too tough to tame.
And boy, they will be tearing the right sides off of those cars at Darlington. We saw it last. We've seen it every time, Andy.
Sparks flying off the wall.
Oh, they got to run right against that wall at Darlington, and they're going to be tearing them up.
You know, Rusty and Andy, we've talked about a lot of the guys that are on the lead lap and have been in contention for a lot of these top finishing positions. Somebody that's had a solid night, kind of quietly, but really needs it, is Kelly Byers.
Yeah, absolutely. Running 10th right now. He's got a good, strong run. He's kept that car out of trouble. You know, he was over at Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s place, and they replaced him. But now he's with a crew chief that's, you know, is not as dominant as Pops is. Pops Sr. over at Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s place. I think this crew chief arrangement kind of matches Kelly's, you know, style a little bit better. They're both kind of quiet guys, and Pops wasn't like that. He's a real good one. He's vocal.
Davies giving that 10 car a good run tonight.
And I asked Kelly, so did you get to take any seats or helmets or driver suits from Junior Motorsports? He said, no, they have carbon seats over there. I couldn't use those, but I went to my own shop and I got my old aluminum seats that I used to run before I worked for Junior Motorsports. I had a fire suit that I ran for these guys last summer. Of course, I had my racing shoes and the flame retardant underwear and all that kind of stuff, and my own helmet. But, you know, he said the best thing about this is just what Rusty was talking about, that relationship with Stuart Cooper.
Scott Kelly, the 7th different driver in this number 10 car in the last 7 races. Now, that's hard, driver, crew chief, when you got so many different drivers shuffling through the seats. But again, that speaks to this relationship that Kelly seems to have with Stuart Cooper. They get together and on this one-off, roll into the top 10.
Well, you got to hand it to Stuart Cooper to work that many drivers and keep the car as competitive as he does. He does a good job.
All right, 25 laps to go. Matt Kenseth there, chasing Byers, trying to get himself back into the 10th position. Up front, it is an even bigger lead. Keselowski to Kyle Busch, 3.2 seconds with 25 to go. Now we're into that territory where history says we're going to have another caution.
Well, Kyle probably likes to hear that.
Yeah,
he'd like a shot at a late race restart. This is kind of what he's been used to doing, is getting out front, leading by a lot. Tonight he's the chaser.
Well, you know, one thing I'm watching right now, though, Andy, is Justin Allgaier back in the 3rd position. He's actually been the fastest guy on the racetrack, outrunning his teammate, outrunning Kyle Busch. He's probably one of the guys that likes to have another shot at it also.
Brad Keselowski, after winning last week in Talladega, has led the most laps he ever has in a single Nationwide Series race tonight, Mike.
Well, Alan, you talk about those race trends. Well, certainly for a lot of reasons, Keselowski does not want to see that caution come out in the last 25 laps. Obviously, he'd lose his big lead, but something also he said before that last round of pit stops was very telling. He said his optimum run is between 40 and 50 laps in. That's when his car peaks. This run, if it goes to the checkers, will be about 61 laps.
Now, let's see if that caution doesn't break out in this big pack of traffic right around the leader. Wow.
Hornet's nest right there for Keselowski.
09 car that he's just gone by there. Hermie Sadler running his first Nationwide Series race since 2004. I talked to Hermie this morning during practice. I said, so, how different is it? He said, I have never driven a coil-bound car before. This is completely different than anything I've ever driven. But he's out there tonight having fun.
It's good to see him back.
And good for him, yes, sir. 21 laps to go. Our last commercial break between now and the checkered flag. Will there be a late twisted plot, or will this be a Keselowski romp to the victory trophy? We'll find out when we come back to Richmond. A reminder about ESPN's Sunday night and Monday night Major League Baseball. On Sunday, it's Jose Reyes and the Mets and Ryan Howard and the Phillies. That's Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell at 8 Eastern. Then Torrey Hunter and the Angels take on Kevin Youkilis and the Boston Red Sox on Monday Night Baseball presented by Sears Lawn and Garden. That's at 7 Eastern. Major League Baseball on ESPN and ESPN3.com Sunday and Monday. Riding on board with Jamie McMurray in the Hellman's car, 8th position. Remember, this car took the green flag back in 27th spot.
Been solid all night long. I mean, this guy knows how to drive these cars. Him and Pops, I talked about earlier. Tony Eury Sr. been working on his car throughout the night, getting handled better and better. And McMurray, he runs good at this racetrack. This isn't a surprise to me.
Well, no matter what happens in these final 12 laps, Brad Keselowski has gotten off to a roaring start in his pursuit of the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship. Check this out now. 7 top 5s and 7 top 10s to start this season, an average finish of 4th.
That is strong.
And this is a new team. I mean, who saw that coming? I mean, I knew, Keselowski's a great talent, but starting up a new team like that and to be that dominant right off the bat, I mean, that's impressive.
And both of them. I mean, Justin Allgaier's teammate also. They've both
elevated him for sure. Having this team come on board has really elevated the performance of that 12 team with Allgaier.
When you get here.
There's Kyle Busch running second, 2.4 seconds behind Keselowski, hoping for a caution. We'd still see some pit stops if we saw a caution here with 10 to go, huh?
Yeah, it'd be hard to make that decision right now with 10 to go. We've got 16 cars now still on the lead lap.
Yeah, we'd see some pit stops.
Oh, you'll see some. I mean, it's going to be a tough decision for him, though.
Interesting week for Brad Keselowski, of course, the win at Talladega in the rain-delayed race on Sunday as we check speeds at the line. Then the technical inspection problems that cost them 50 driver and owner points and the fines to crew chief Paul Wolfe. And they come here to Richmond, and boy, they have put a hurting on the field so far.
How about McMurray now? Fastest car that lap.
Yep. So Kyle a little bit faster than Keselowski at the moment, but again, he's over 2 seconds behind, and there's just 9 laps to go.
Yeah, right now Keselowski's thinking only a caution can, take this thing away from me or potentially take it away. Just wants to weave his way through traffic, not cause one himself.
Oh, yeah, he's got such a big lead right now. Just needs to take it nice and easy. And he is. He's being real ginger with that throttle out there, not getting all over it. Driving that car straight up off the corner, and it's coming down to 6 or 7 laps to go. And this is where extreme patience, getting around the lap cars and different people, you got to exercise.
And there's Kyle hung up behind a couple lap cars racing side by side.
Yeah, he can't be patient. He's got to go.
Yeah. Steve Wallace falling a second lap down there. He's in 19th spot. Remember, had a flat tire and a spin earlier in the race. Right now, among the top positions. Well, is that the caution?
Caution is
That's
out.
the
Caution
caution. Oh, no. 6 laps to go. Now what do you do?
Oh, I'm glad I'm up here.
You don't want to make that call, do you? No. Tires, no tires, what do you do?
I say the leader's got to stay out.
Paul Menard in trouble, brings out the caution flag. Tough break for Paul, was on the lead lap, was running in 14th spot at the time. And again, with assuming Menard goes off the lead lap, 15 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's basically going to be a green-white checker situation here on the restart. Let's see what happened to Paul.
One of those things we were talking about earlier on those long runs.
Right here it is. And right there, you see that right front tire go. More than likely an overheated bead from, you can see the brake rotors glowing red. That just takes its toll on that bead. Goodyear does a great job, and they've tried to help that situation by developing some different material for that bead. But that rubber and that heat just at some point it's going to fail. Here the
road's open.
Keselowski.
And did he make the commitment line there? That orange block that's painted on the racetrack. Did he straddle that or did he get in clean?
I'm not going to call that one.
He's beat anyway.
He's in trouble right now. There's no way he's going to win this race with these guys staying out this many.
Well, there's only 2 lead lap cars that have stayed out. Doc?
And Carl Edwards will come in. They will put 4 tires, no fuel. They're saying hit those lug nuts hard, guys. Got to have them tight. Adding no fuel and it's a wall. Mike.
And no fuel on the 22 either, but a 4-tire change for Keselowski as they're trying to win this race off pit road. Very tight. He's finally away.
A lot of cars pitted. Now, we saw a lot of cars stay out, but a lot of those were lap-down cars, and a lot of the leaders came behind Keselowski. That's going to be in his favor.
I might change my mind from saying there's no way.
Of the 15 lead lap cars, 2 stayed on the racetrack. Kyle Busch didn't pit. Justin Allgaier didn't pit. Everyone else came on the pit road. And so that's going to put...
I like Keselowski's position right now, and McMurray.
Let me just, McMurray's going to be 3rd for the restart. 4th is going to be Keselowski, so he's got to be in that outside row, but he's only going to be in the 2nd row.
He's got tires, and he's going to be the first row that has them.
Here's the question. Watch that orange block. Does that 22 car, is he good or not good on the commitment line?
Oh. Yep. Yeah, they say the left side tires have to be on. He's good.
All right, so Keselowski makes that.
He made it.
Barely makes that.
That's tight. That is tight. So, Kyle Busch, who hasn't led this thing since lap 59, goes back out in front.
Yeah, when you saw Keselowski make that move, it looked like nobody was coming with him, but those were all lap cars. All the rest of the lead lap cars did come.
All right, this is the point of the race where it'd be kind of not good to make a prediction.
Oh, it's going to get crazy right here, boys. Oh, no, there's that graphic, Alan. You know, I said I'd rather have a fast car.
that haunting graphic. Oh, man.
You know, I got to tell you the truth. I'm sitting here watching the laps run out, and I'm the one that spouted off this stat about we always get the late caution, and I'm saying it's not going to happen tonight. I can't believe it's not going to. It happened.
It happened.
And it just didn't look like it. Everybody was too spread out with only like 7 laps to go, and just a blown tire.
Well, it's been a theme in this 2010 NASCAR season. Sprint Cup Series and Nationwide Series. The late twist of plot. The late caution flag. The crew chiefs having to make the strategy decision. And Mike, they've had to make some tough calls down there in these last few minutes.
Yeah, they sure are tough. And, well, this is one of the guys who's going to have to make it. Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief for Kyle Busch. What are your thoughts right now?
We're fixing to see a driver get up on the wheel right here, but I thought more would stay out right there with only a few laps to go. You know, if we just get around here and get back to the white flag, it'll be over. But we got the best guy out there. We'll see what he can do as NOS Energy Drink Camry.
Well, there you go, guys. Awfully tense moments here in the 18 camp.
All right, we're on 1 to go. We're going to get the restart at what would be the scheduled distance. So this is a green-white checker finish. The green flag will wave if they get back around to the white flag.
Yeah, if.
The next flag, be it the yellow or the checkered, will end the race. But if the caution waves before the leader takes the white flag, then they'll line it up and do it again.
How long is it going to take them to get 3 wide?
I can tell you who I think's going to win this race, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, come on, you got it now.
I think the 22's going to win it. I mean, the rest of them don't have tires. He's lined up right to back. I mean, what we got? 2 laps to go here?
Here we go.
Green-white checker finish. Brad Keselowski lined up on the outside of row 2. Kyle Busch and Justin Allgaier up front. Busch gets the restart. And here comes Carl Edwards, 3 wide to the outside of Keselowski. Greg Biffle.
Oh, they're 3 wide for the lead. Maybe 4 wide?
Where did Biffle come from? And Keselowski through in the bottom.
Here we come into the white.
This is the last lap. Biffle leads that one. Keselowski to his inside. Carl Edwards going to be black flag for jumping that last restart.
Yeah, he passed before the start-finish line.
Side by side, final corners. Keselowski's going to squeeze out in front. He dominated, but boy, he had to sweat that one out. Brad Keselowski, back-to-back wins in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
Unbelievable. I mean, back-to-back. This team is so strong right now. It's unbelievable. And those 4 tires are right call.
Hand it to Biffle. Where did he come from? Holy cow.
Man, this is awesome to watch you, Brad. A lot of fun. That's what you pay me to do, RP. We got it done today. Great job. Whoa, you get the car to win.
What a night for Brad Keselowski. He led 189 of the 252 laps. And Mike, he's picked up a win, but he had to work for it.
Yeah, they did. Some anxious moments. What was it like when that caution came out and your big lead went away, Paul Wolfe?
Well, it definitely wasn't what we wanted to see with the Ruby Tuesday Dodge tonight. We've had a great car all night. And, you know, we kind of figured something like that was going to happen. And, you know, we're kind of the sit and duck. Whatever we do, everybody else is going to do the opposite. So we feel like we needed 4 tires, and I think it paid off.
What were those closing laps like for you?
It's just after last week, you know, to get our first win and then had some of the controversy around it, it's nice to come back and do it again tonight.
You can sense the sense of vindication, guys, in Paul Wolfe's voice.
So Brad Keselowski with his 8th NASCAR Nationwide Series win. His first win here at Richmond after finishing 4th in both of last year's races. And the green-white checker finish. Look, there's Greg Biffle inside of row 3.
Man, where'd he come from?
Inside of row 3.
You see how Kyle Busch gets a great start, and Carl Edwards right here is passing before the start-finish line. That's where the penalty's coming from. But look at Biffle drive this thing down into turn 1.
And look how much new tires do. I mean, look at Keselowski carving it through there. Kyle Busch can't get going at all. McMurray can't get going. Definitely the right call. We come back next year and say, you think 4 tires with 5 laps go at work? And we can say, yeah, now.
Post-race thoughts from some of the top finishers. David?
With Kyle Busch now, who was able to, I don't know if it was a forced smile, but it was a pretty good smile with Jamie McMurray there talking about the end of the race. But, man, to not have the tires at the end, did that just kill you?
No, we didn't have the car tonight. You know, we fought there when we got back in traffic and tried to get back up towards the front. We could on the long run, but we just didn't have anything for the 22 tonight. You know, he was so stellar. But, you know, the NOS Energy Drink Camry was probably a second-place car, and if anybody wanted to know what it takes to stay out, that's what it took to stay out. And that's what happens when you stay out. So I think Dave Rogers makes the right calls. You know, tonight was my call to stay out. Jason wanted to come in, and I just wanted to see what it would do. You know, you got to hold him off for a green-white checker, and obviously that's as best as I could fight him off.
Yeah, tough decisions here late in the race. Doc?
How about this team here? Ricky Vires makes a gutsy 2-tire call in that last stop. And I'm going to ask you what Rusty Wallace and Andy Peter were saying. Where did you come from on that restart?
Well, I'll tell you what, this Redman Ford Fusion just hauls the mail on new tires, and you know, I'm just so excited to drive for this Baker Curb team. You know, Ricky's just calling great races here, and I'm having a lot of fun driving this car, and just appreciate what Nationwide Insurance does for this series. It's a lot of fun, as you can see, but I just couldn't hold him off in that last lap. I was going to try and pinch him down there in 3 and 4, and I had to run in there beside him. I had to go so fast in the corner I slid up, so I did all I could do to hold him off, and just happy for this team.
Greg Biffle finishes second here at Richmond. Dave.
LJB McMurray restarted third and found his way almost to the front, but like having those tires at the end?
Yeah, you know, I had so much buildup on my left sides that when we went through turn 1, I didn't have any grip. Even though I had new right sides, I just couldn't get going. And it really took till coming off turn 4, coming to the checker before I felt like I had grip. But after practice, I never would have guessed that we had to run this well. So I'm really excited that Dale Jr. and everyone at JR Motorsports has let me drive this car. Hellman's Mayonnaise. It's been a lot of fun to get to work with all these guys, and it definitely beats sitting in your motorhome.
And what'd you say when you saw Biffle go by?
Well, Biffle's my buddy, and I thought if I can't win, I don't know where he came from, but good for him. So I was happy for Greg.
Yeah, all these guys made it a great show tonight. Alan?
He came from 5th is where he came from.
Yeah, we didn't know where he came from either.
So good job for Jamie McMurray in the Hellman's car tonight. He finishes 3rd, and time to head into Hellman's victory circle and hear from the race winner.
And Brad Keselowski getting the Gatorade bath, as am I. A jubilant crew here who went through a roller coaster of emotions over those last 5 minutes of this race. Take me through that battle with Greg Biffle. What was that like?
Well, you know, it wouldn't be right if this race didn't come down to a green-white checkered. Our car was just so strong today. Paul Wolf, the whole Ruby Tuesday team, they gave us just a great Dodge Charger, and we just had to put it in the right spot at the right time. Got that green-white checkered. I wanted to play offense. I knew if we lost this race because we didn't take tires, I'd be so mad. So came down on pit road, got ourselves some tires, and just made the right move with Greg on the last lap, and it all worked out.
When that caution came out, a huge lead went away. What went through your mind?
Just, you know, it figures. But, you know, that's part of the racing. You know, I can't really blame anybody. It's nobody's fault. Paul Menard got a flat tire, and it happens. So, you know, it's just all part of racing, and it was a great race today. Really hope the fans enjoyed it. I want to thank them for coming out, and came up with a new Victory Lane celebration with the American flag because we can't do burnouts with our engines. So, something cool and new for the fans, and I hope they all appreciate it.
And everybody is drenched in Gatorade, guys. It's a heck of a celebration down here in Victory Lane. Brad Keselowski, a winner for the 2nd straight race.
And his father, Bob, they're embracing him in Victory Lane. Bob won what was then a Craftsman Truck Series race here at Richmond a few years ago. Brad said coming in here this weekend, I quote, hope to join him.
Well, there they are.
He has. Very nice. Now, Carl Edwards, we talked about him getting too good a start on that last restart, but what we didn't go back and see was that after they went by and off into turn 1, he gave the position back. So
that makes it legal.
He's clear. See, he gets back in behind Brad, so he's not penalized. And Carl will end up finishing in 5th position tonight, Doc.
Yeah, Carl was asking me about that. I was just explaining to him, and he's talking here to the crew chief and to Jack Roush about what happened with the car, about nudging the wall over there. And but Carl, NASCAR said officially they did black flag you, but you gave the position back, so you're gonna officially be credited with finishing 5th, so another top 5.
Yeah, that's good. That's a top 5. Congrats to Brad and those guys, man. They've been unbelievable, but we're doing everything we can to catch them. We got Fast and all, Copart, Ford, all these guys behind us, and the guys are working hard. And we need to just step it up a little bit more and get those wins. But after the last couple of weeks, the top 5's good. You know, we're not closing points, but that's a good run for us. So I want to say hi to Kate and Annie and everybody at home. I love you guys, and we'll just go race tomorrow.
New race cars helps you handling-wise. How about the new Ford engine? When that would come on board, how much of an assist would that be?
That'll be huge. You know, Ford has the best cars on the road. Ford, I'm proud to drive a Ford, and this new engine I'm really excited about. Doug Yates, all the guys have been working hard, and you know, I think when that comes, that'll be a you know, an ace in our pockets. I think it'll be a really good thing for us.
Carl Edwards, the top 5, and right now I think the Ford camp believes they're a little down on horsepower to the other manufacturers here in this series, guys.
All right, Doc, thanks. So a lot going on in the late going here. Andy, the right strategy call by Paul Wolf.
Oh, absolutely the right call to get those 4 tires. And you saw the cars that stayed out. Kyle Busch was able to stay up there in the top 5, but poor Justin Allgaier all the way back to 15th.
And what about Greg Biffle? He decides to put 2 tires on, and he finishes second. Another pretty good call. I mean, definitely better than not taking any at all, that's for sure.
And Carl Edwards almost, but gave it back. And Kyle Busch saying he overruled his crew chief, wanted to see what it would do. Kyle wound up finishing 4th in this one. What a finish here at Richmond after Keselowski dominated the night. He winds up getting the trophy, but not without that little twist of plot late in the race that has been a theme in the NASCAR season.
And he gets a few of those points back he lost last week now on that point lead.
59, the gap between the two, headed to Darlington Raceway next Friday night. 7 Eastern, ESPN2. Hope you'll join us for that. Up next, Denver and Utah. In the NBA playoffs, the Jazz with a 3-2 lead trying to send the Nuggets packing. That is next. Congratulations to Brad Keselowski out on top of a spectacular finish once again here at the Richmond International Raceway. So long.